Join us in honoring warriors at woundedwarriorproject.org/America.
This is the Bloomberg Black Business Beat. NBA legend Shaquille O'Neal is partnering with a tech wonderland right in the middle of New York City. It's called Tomorrow, stylized as TM:RW. And it's designed to showcase the tech and innovation of the future.
Robots, dog robots, holograms, headphones, glasses, meta glasses, it's a beautiful place to be, and I think if you're ever in Times Square, you should definitely check it out.
In this conversation on Bloomberg, Shaq explained why he decided to throw his money behind the Times Square-based store.
Well, I always invest in things that I first believe in and, things that are going to change people's lives. This is something that, it's not really a lot of competition out there, and I know once people come inside the store, they will love what they see, and they will fall in love with what they see.
Stop by, and you might even see Shaq himself, or maybe even a hologram of him.
A beautiful, sexy hologram. It's a hologram, a beautiful, sexy hologram.
I'm Bloomberg's Justin Milliner on the Black Business Beat.
Pros, save more on what you need to get the job done right. Right now at Lowe's. Get 15% off select custom entry and interior doors. Plus, save $80 on the DeWalt 20-volt Max 2-tool combo kit. Now just $169. And at the Lowe's Pro Desk, bring us your materials list and get a quote in minutes. Handwritten, a photo, or even a sticky note is all you need. Keep your jobs moving faster and on budget at Lowe's. Valid through 7/8 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
With Fidelity Wealth Management, a dedicated advisor gets to know you and your goals to build a comprehensive plan to help grow and protect your wealth. Backed by a team of specialists, they'll analyze all your accounts, even the ones they don't manage, to keep an eye on taxes and provide proactive portfolio insights that can help you unlock your wealth's full potential. Learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC. Member NYSE SIPC.
Truth Nation, stand up. Tap in. Share your truth with the 1017 crew on 1017 FM and 1510 AM. W269DL. Milwaukee, a Milwaukee Black media company.
He steps to the mic with a boom ping ping. Wisdom sharper than a beast's fierce sting. Words like fireflies that light the night. He turns the dark into blazing bright. Boom ping ping, the truth takes wing. Milwaukee's voice, let the city sing. Boom ping ping, hear the freedom ring. Sherwin's the king, oh the airwaves king. Shake the ground, unveils the truth where lies abound. Politics, justice, social streams. He molds the chaos into dreams. No silence here, just the sound of change. Boom, ping, ping, rearrange. Boom, ping, ping, the truth takes wing. Milwaukee's voice, let the city sing. Boom, ping, ping, hear the freedom ring. Sherwin's the king, or the airwaves king. Through the static, through the noise, he amplifies the people's voice. Boom, ping, ping, like a heartbeat's call. He's got the wisdom to break down walls. Yeah.
Good morning. Welcome to the program. Today is Monday, July 6th, 2026. Let me first start off by saying it is very good to be back. It was great to be away for a little while, but it is, of course, good to be back. And in the amount of time that I was gone, which was only 2 days, but it was a good 2 days. It was a proper 2 days. A lot transpired. A lot of things took place, obviously, nationally, because a lot of you celebrated the greatest country on earth, the United States of America, as she turned 250 years old. And if you are of any kind of minority status, the 4th of July is always a very conflicting holiday because you have to look at where the lineage of your family was at the time of independence. Was it, in fact, a great revolution that garnered and fostered freedom, hope, and opportunity for new people, or were those freedoms limited in their scope? So it's always a very introspective time. And if you are curious about that introspection, you can just drive through any African American neighborhood in America, and there are plenty of them, and count how many American flags you see, as opposed to if you go to a neighborhood that lacks that kind of diversity and you will see a larger number of American flags. It seems that we celebrate America differently, and I do want to spend a little bit of time on that because we have hit a milestone for our democracy. 1/4 of a millennium is what the United States is in age, and obviously we've come a very long way, and I would say that there's a long way to go, but it doesn't seem like the way we are moving, at least collectively, is forward. We are either stalled temporarily or maybe, just maybe, we are moving backwards. And so we have a YouTube poll question of the day, as we always do, because, we have inquisitive temperaments. We just want to know what you think about some stuff. A couple of days ago, on July 4th, nation turned 250 years old. And this question is very, very simple. And I know that there's a lot of discussion in between the responses that we have for you on the YouTube poll. It's very simple. Are you proud to be an American? Yes or no? Now, it's more nuanced than that, and there's a lot of details you can fill in. Maybe there's some things you are proud of and you're not proud of, but at the end of the day, it's a fundamental question. Are you proud to be an American? Yes or no? So if you haven't done so already, join us on YouTube by searching 1017 The Truth, hitting subscribe. You'll have a whole bunch of benefits if you do that. You'll be able to view our in-studio cameras. You'll be able to participate in the effervescent live YouTube chat, which sometimes follows along and asks questions and provides commentary to the show that I am doing. Or sometimes the YouTube chat is its own separate program that has nothing to do with me whatsoever. Either way, pick your poison. And you'll also be able to vote on our YouTube poll as we are, I suppose, basking in the afterglow, maybe, of the 250th anniversary of the United States of America. So before we dive into things today, I was disconnected from what was happening. I was disconnected from local news. I disconnected from national news. Every now and again, if I was inside, because I spent a good piece of my vacation time outside enjoying just the weather and the sun. And I was in Memphis, Tennessee. I wasn't here. So I don't know what happened in Milwaukee. I wasn't even checking my phone. You know what the best part of being gone was? There would be like a 12-hour span where my phone was just somewhere in the house. I didn't care where it was. I wasn't checking any calls and any text messages. I didn't want to see any news updates, nothing. It was the most glorious thing because I cannot tell you how long it has been where I could feel comfortable and confident just disconnecting from my phone. It is a totally different experience, ladies and gentlemen. And that, to me, was the best part, one of the best parts. I really had a hell of a time just being away and being out of Milwaukee for a period of time. But I don't know if we know how consuming our phones are. And we obviously, you can see people just walking around in public with their noses buried in their phones. But the emotional toll that it takes on you, And you may not notice it in the moment, but if you're scrolling and scrolling and then you see a fight here and a shooting here, apparently a cop got run over, then another cop got blown up by fireworks. So when I came in this morning, I was okay, let's see what I missed. I was like, oh, this is a doozy. Milwaukee really showed its butt. And then the fight at Summerfest, 20-something people get arrested fighting at Summerfest. I was like, well, I'm glad that I was disconnected. I didn't know a lot of this stuff until I came back very late, very, very late last night. Side note, O'Hare is the worst airport in the history of humans. It's horrible. It's big for no I hate O'Hare. I don't ever want to fly out of O'Hare. So quiet as kept. This past weekend was the first time I've ever done a connecting flight at O'Hare. Awful. It's the worst. It's hell on earth. It looks like, you know how Trump is just a real bad manager of important stuff? It's almost like Trump laid the plan for O'Hare. Put a bunch of gates right here and make the very long walk. Make it impossible to get from one place to another. Just make it impossible. Make people miss their flights every 35 seconds. The number of people that I saw sprinting through that airport. Some of you are old enough to remember that Hertz commercial where OJ was sprinting through the airport and doing the hurdles over the seats in the airport gate areas. That is what you see at O'Hare. Just an awful experience. And it just looks old and gross. Whatever. Side note on that. Lots of places. I want to try, because we got to have some explanation for what I'm calling social vandalism, because that is exactly what we are seeing. We've got, entertainment districts around the city that have been around for a while, and they have very significant economic and cultural impact in the city of Milwaukee. They welcome tourists. They offer entertainment. There's bars and restaurants and all sorts of things. Also know that those areas are not for everyone, but I want to give a better explanation as to why we are seeing some of the things that we are seeing, the fights and the violence. And we can simplify it and say, oh, these are just a bunch of really bad people. There's a bunch of really awful kids, and they're just disruptive to be disruptive. And if we gave them something to do, they would not be disrupting these entertainment districts, which are pretty sizable investments for the city of Milwaukee. Because I think when we talk about some of the violent activities that go on Brady Street and Water Street, we're not looking at those entertainment districts as the major investments that they are as far as our tax dollars investing into those places and its infrastructure, but also the money and the revenue that they generate. Brady Street and Water Street are just two examples of really major investments that pay dividends because they attract people. And when you have folks that are content on being disruptive and fighting and shooting and the overwhelming police presence, it takes away from that investment. But I don't want anyone to think this problem is simple. It is not. I'm going to do my level best today to explain but not excuse some of these behaviors. And then hopefully at the end of the show, people will have a much better understanding of if you built things that will take, assuming it's young people, and if we built, when I say young people, I mean like under 40. So you can't just build a bunch of roller skating rinks or whatever you think kids want to do. You have to have other entertainment districts for younger adults that are in their 30s, that are in their 20s. But just know that if that happened, because that's a big suggestion, if we just build something or create something for them, then they won't cause disruptions downtown and they won't interrupt the course of business and travel and tourism on Water Street and Brady Street. Here's what I want folks to understand. Whatever you build, they will destroy that too. And it will be a wasted investment. So don't think that what you are seeing, this social vandalism, will stop if new or alternative venues and entertainment is created. The ingredients, the people, are the problem, and they will destroy whatever they are not invested in. And maybe here's a better example. I've always been fascinated by like graffiti. And I know it's a part of culture, and there are artists who don't have access to studios and where they can be professional artists. Because, graffiti actually is artwork. Now, it's not always looked at as such, especially where it pops up. But if the artist doesn't have a place or a space in which they can exhibit their art, and here's the big part, if they don't own the building, if they're not invested in the building, they don't care if they tag it. They want to display their mark on something that they don't own and have no ownership connection to. A lot of times, if somebody tags a building or they tag a train in NYC, they don't own that train. They didn't put their money up to invest in that transportation infrastructure of a subway train. Somebody tags the side of a building. They didn't build that building. They didn't staff that building. They're not responsible for the maintenance and the upkeep of that building, but they want to leave their mark on it. And so they can do so with no remorse because they don't own it. When people don't have a real ownership in something, when it's not their butt on the line, when it's not their money on the line, it's not their investment on the line, they are detached from it. And if the people that are going down to our entertainment districts, and we're going to talk about some of the things that transpired over the weekend and the fighting and the shooting and the cop got ran over and then the cop got blown up by fireworks, which was kind of odd because I watched the cop firework video because there was a couple of fireworks that went off in the parking lot. The first one was of some distance away from the officer. And the officer, it's a lady cop, of course. Oh, I could do a whole show on lady cops. Sorry, ladies. It's not for you. It's not. It isn't. We'll do that another time. But then another, I don't know, a firecracker or something goes off, and it still is a sizable distance from the officer. And then the lady, did you see it? I'm sure some of y'all saw it. Maybe we'll play it later. She just lays on the ground. She just flops like LeBron James. You ever seen LeBron James just take a flop? Like nobody touches him. Nobody fouled LeBron. He just falls to the ground and he looks around for the refs. It's almost like what that officer did. Like she was overwhelmed and she was also by herself. So I suppose we'll have a conversation about that. But I want to explain. Otherwise, we're just going to continue to do this like circular firing squad of how terrible and how horrible the people are. And the people are horrible and terrible, but they feel an incessant need to socially vandalize spaces in which they have no ownership. And let's just say, I don't know, maybe it's a group of teenagers. I say teenagers because they're easy to pick on and because they don't feel any connection to Brady Street and Water Street. It's someone else's, and they get to go there for free. There's no admission fee. There's no cover charge. There's no security. It's like it's open to the public, but because all of what they see is someone else's, they can destroy it. They can act in a way that is not culturally appropriate. When I say culturally appropriate, the different entertainment districts we have in the city, they have a culture. Water Street has a certain feel to it. It's got a certain flavor to it. Brady Street has a feel and a flavor. And there's some history to some of those areas as well. And if you are not acting in a way that is the prevailing culture of that place, you're just going to destroy it. So I want to give some explanation because at the end of this program, I want people to be much more well-informed about why people are acting the way they're acting. And the solution is not building other things so they can go and have somewhere else to go. They can go and play basketball. Stuff's not going to work. Y'all know that the good kids are already doing that stuff. The good kids that want to be productive and don't want to cause trouble and mayhem, there's plenty of things for them to do. I went through about a month or so ago, I went through the 82-page MPS recreation guide. Now, there's some fees to some of those activities, but it's like $10. You got to spend more than that on coffee and Air Jordan tennis shoes. So it isn't you have to build other things because the ingredients and the elements that are destroying our entertainment districts now would destroy that too. So I want to have an explanation where it's not an excuse, but we're going to wonder why things are not getting better. And also, I'm starting to understand why the Democratic candidates for governor, they don't have a solution for this because there isn't one because policy can't fix it. Policy can only create more rules and more laws that are enforced by law enforcement. That does not fix a problem. It is a responsibility of the community that is producing these bad ingredients. No law, no candidate for governor, mayor, county executive, no candidate for Jesus, nor any of his disciples can fix this. This is a product. This is a production. These people were birthed by elements, and those elements that birth these bad ingredients have to be the ones to fix it. Nobody else can. We're going to talk about it today. We're going to be a little bit smarter today. A little bit. Glad to be back. Hope you guys had a good weekend. Make sure you check out our YouTube poll. Are you proud to be an American? Now, I want you to take everything into consideration now. The good, the bad, the ugly, the progress, the regression. Take it all in and just answer the simple yes or no question on the YouTube poll. Are you proud to be American? I'm going to go ahead and just give you my answer right now. I'm going to tell you what it is. I'm going to tell you. I'll tell you when I come back. You're listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes exclusively on 101.7 FM. Don't go anywhere. I'll be back shortly.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
In the United States, a vehicle is stolen every 31 seconds, about as long as this message. Luckily, you can take a few easy steps to protect your car in the same amount of time. Remove your valuables, roll up your windows, don't leave your car running unattended, lock your doors, and take your keys or fob. If you have information about a crime, call the police. If you suspect insurance fraud, also call 800-TEL-NICB. A public service message from the National Insurance Crime Bureau.
I always had to be so good, no one could ignore me. Carve my path with data and drive. But some people only see who I am on paper. The paper ceiling, the limitations from degree screens to stereotypes that are holding back over 70 million stars. Workers skilled through alternative routes, rather than a bachelor's degree. It's time for skills to speak for themselves. Find resources for breaking through barriers at tearthepaperceiling.org. Brought to you by Opportunity at Work and the Ad Council.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Go to our YouTube. Oh, the chatters are chatting. Curly Q says, we do what we want in this chat. Yeah, you do. I mean, I'd like for it to somewhat correspond to what we're talking about in the show, because maybe amongst the chatters via our YouTube page or YouTube channel, whatever it is, maybe some solutions will come to light. But we're searching for solutions in the wrong place, because we're looking for somebody else to fix this. This is not, the social climate of Milwaukee is not an infrastructure project. If there's a pothole in the street, somebody will come and fix that. If the traffic lights aren't working, someone will come and fix that. If there's a bunch of snow that falls in the wintertime, there's services that will come and fix that. If your house is on fire, you can call somebody like, hey, send a truck, my house is burning. There's something will come and fix that. And so we tend to look at government in a real general kind of way, like, oh, if there's a problem, it can fix that. No, it's not. It's not supposed to. If anything, a core function of government is, if people are trying their very, very best and they're trying really, really hard and they're falling a little bit short, but it's still going to take their effort, then government can come in and maybe help you out a little bit. It's not going to raise your kids for you. It's not going to give you a pathway for success. It's going to provide some resources and some opportunities, but you have to know how to take advantage of them. And if you can't take advantage of them, or if you don't know how, you can't blame anybody for that. There's nobody that we can call. There's no person that we can vote for that's going to fix what we see. Elected officials, you got to be careful with this, because we should have learned this 30 years ago with the 1994 crime bill. We wanted a stop to the drive-by shootings and the gang violence and the crack epidemic. We wanted it to stop immediately, and we were willing to support anything that would stop it immediately. And so states built prisons. They built a bunch of them. Congress passed laws. They passed a bunch of them. States passed laws. They passed a bunch of them, including 3 strikes laws. And then we realized we went too far, because a bunch of black people were getting locked up. Like, oh, we went too far. So when you ask government to do something, its solution is going to be faulty every single time. There has to be investment from the actual people, separate and apart from government. I sometimes can relate to some of those quote unquote patriot people. They hate the government. Now, they hate the government for different reasons than I do, but they see how it's ineffective and inefficient on their wants, needs, and desires, what they truly want, what they truly need. Now, some of those quote unquote patriots, as we are still in the spirit of America turning 250 years old, they hate the government because the government told them that they had to integrate. They hate the government because the government said, yes, black people can actually live next door to you and black kids can go to your school. That's why they hate the government. They hate the government because the government has too much control. It's too big. It's too powerful. And it tells them what to do. Have you ever stopped to think why Republicans like small government? They want everything. Just no government. We don't need all these programs. We don't need all these departments, because the federal government tells states what to do. Some states were in fact slave states, and they were willing to go to war to defend that. Then the federal government came in and said, no, you can't do slavery anymore. And the southern states were like, come on, we love it. And Abraham Lincoln was like, you need to love something else. You need to love business and industry and wage labor, because the North can't compete with chattel slavery. And the South was like, oh, fine, we'll let them go, but we're going to be really mean to them for a super long time. And then the federal government was like, okay, just be mean to them locally. Southern states were like, fine. And also the southern states were like, we're going to put a lot of monuments up. Like, we're going to honor all the Confederates. And the federal government was like, oh, this is going to be ugly, but fine. And southern states were like, well, we're still going to fly our flag a lot, like everywhere. And the federal government's like, okay, but you have to let the black people, you got to let them walk around a little bit. And that's basically the story of that. I was in the reddest of red states over the weekend. And I'm always fascinated by race relations in the South. And Tennessee is a different kind of South than, say, in Alabama or Mississippi. I'd say rural Georgia, because Atlanta is not the South. Atlanta is a mix of like Chicago, Washington, D.C., and San Francisco. And when I throw in the sprinkle of San Francisco into the mix and the matrix of Atlanta, I'm putting the gay. The gay in San Francisco has just, there was like a haze. Like they crop dusted glitter over Atlanta, and they imported their glitter from San Francisco. So Georgia is not, it's not the traditional South. In fact, you've got 2 Democratic senators representing Georgia, which is a total anomaly. And here's one better. One is a Jewish fella. And you know, the Christian evangelicals, they don't like the Jewish so much. Unless it's Israel. Then but Israel is Zionism. It's not the average Jewish person. They don't like the average Jew, because they think that the average Jew, like every average Jew murdered Jesus, and they don't like that. But if you're an Israeli fighting the terrorists, then I guess you're a different kind of Jew or whatever. I can honestly say that the pleasantries of the South interracially are leaps and bounds better than they are in Milwaukee. Now, I've been going to the South my entire life. It is where the majority of my family is from. And so over the years, as I have grown in maturity and expertise, I know how to pay attention to certain social cues and aggressions and microaggressions. They are tangibly more severe in the North. I don't even know if we realize it. And what happens is the sheer just hatred of black people, because you got to keep in mind, what do we represent here? If you go back far enough, I feel like I need to do a history lesson, because I need everyone to be caught up here. Black people in the North represent economic competition where we weren't before. We were not. We just came up here and just started getting crazy jobs, factory jobs, assembly line jobs, production jobs, and we're making money. That didn't really exist in the North. And so there's always been an animosity. And now if you look at where we are, and I got to fill in the blanks and explain a lot of this, there's no demand for black labor anymore. None. And what you are seeing is a couple of things all coming to a head at once to try and explain, not excuse, some of the behaviors that we are seeing. people are having less and less children. That is an absolute fact. And as time goes on, people are having less and less children. And we can figure out why that is. We can talk about marriage rates declining. But when you have people making a conscious decision to be childless or to have dramatically less children, and we see this just in populations, the black community is not exploding in population like people think. In fact, we're either staying the same or we're slightly regressing. There is no natalism in the black community. Nobody is running around saying, hey, we need more black women to have more babies, and we're going to give black women $2,000 to have more babies. Donald Trump floated that. Other nations have floated. Like, there's some nations that actually have a program where they'll give you a year, 6 months of paid maternity leave. They'll give you stipends and give you all sorts of money because they want their women to have more children. That's not happening in America. People don't want to have kids. And maybe because it's so expensive, and kids are a major liability. They're a time liability. And they're a financial liability. Now, they also are fun, especially when kids say swear words. I just get tickled by that. So there's some benefits, I suppose, for some people to have children. But for the most part, they're a liability. And what you are starting to see is the sentiment that is producing people having less children in America is the children that are here are not wanted. They are neglected. And when children get neglected, they go out and they become social vandals because no one wants them. On top of that, there's no demand for black labor. Why would you teach black kids to read? I want you to be practical now, because some of y'all think, well, they're supposed to teach our children because it's their job. And the police's job is protect and serve, right? You think that a bunch of white people that control the curriculum of MPS cares if black kids read or not? There's no demand for black labor. And then you see the advent of the content creator where people are just doing outrageous things to try and make money that way because there's no demand for black labor. As much as we hate the institution of slavery, I think it has a relevant talking point when you talk about this country and it turning 250 years old and the 4th of July and all of that. There was a demand for black labor in the antebellum South, especially between like 1812 and 1861. Cotton exploded. And it's very labor intensive. There was a demand for black labor. Now, it was slave labor, but there was a demand for it. Black people were needed. We were income, we were revenue, we were capital. And then after the antebellum period, we start moving into more industrialized forms of production, right? Where black people were migrating out of the South, number one, to find their families, number two, to take advantage of industrial work opportunities that existed in the North. In fact, some old folks will be able to tell you that they were 15, 16 years old, and union reps from the North would take the train down south to recruit African Americans to come work in the factories in Milwaukee and Chicago and Gary and in the automotive plants in Detroit. Why do you think we came? Some of us were recruited. Some black folks, you know how tough it is to get somebody to relocate? You know how bad it has to be, first of all, where you live to just pack up and just move? And millions of black people did that, but we had some help. We were recruited because there was a need for black labor. Then we deindustrialized. And when we deindustrialized, we not only destroyed the factory infrastructure because we wanted cheaper labor, because American labor, the further we were going down that path of America producing everything, the more expensive everything got. And you can't have expensive production and expensive labor, especially in the 70s in a very high inflationary period. So we shut down a lot of the factories. I know I'm giving you like a Cliff Notes version of history, but I'm trying to explain. Nobody wants black people. No one. We live in a climate where nobody wants children. And the children that are here are unloved and unwanted and abused. And this is how they are acting. They are socially vandalizing a society in which they are not one. I saw some footage from one of the Carolinas. Don't know why we need two Carolinas, but whatever. Where there was a teen takeover and they were beating a cop, another woman cop. She should have pulled out her pistol. She was trying to hold on to her pistol. Like she couldn't defend herself from punches and hold on to her pistol because she was trying to hang on to her firearm. And I don't know if they ultimately stole her firearm, but they're beating a female officer like mercilessly in one of these teen takeovers. So I'm going to take a break, come back. I want to further explore the fact that there's no demand and desire for black labor. Nobody wants black people. It's a really awful thing to say, but some people just are not getting it. We are being displaced in our own society. There's no demand for our labor. And if there's no demand for our labor, because we don't produce anything, we produce a lot of entertainment. True. We're very entertaining. We got music and dance, like reality shows. Like we produce a lot of that. But even in the music, the entertainment part of black labor and black production is mockery. Our labor is not wanted. We'd rather hire a Mexican. We would. We'd rather get cheap labor from somewhere else and sell the products here. So there's no demand for black labor. And then the one important part of black production, our creativity, it has to mock black people. Oh, so Tyler Perry is a great example. He's a billionaire, right? Tyler Perry plays a woman. So he almost has to mock black masculinity for his production to be worth any kind of major money. Just give it some thought. I'm going to take a break, come back. Make sure you answer our YouTube poll question. Are you proud to be an American? I am. I'm proud to be an American. I wouldn't want to be anywhere else. And I am who I am because I'm an American. I am who I am because of my family and my history. So, yes, I'm proud to be an American. It doesn't mean I'm proud of America. Sherwin is just proud to be an American. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
At Milwaukee College Prep, we believe brilliance lives in every child. Here, students are challenged, supported, and celebrated every single day. With small class sizes, dedicated teachers, and a proven track record of academic excellence, MCP is helping Milwaukee kids reach their fullest potential. Enrollment is still open for grades K-3 through 8. Apply today. Give your child a school where they'll thrive. Visit mkuprep.com or call today. Milwaukee College Prep, brilliance lives here.
I'm Chris Jakimick. I served in the United States Air Force and I deployed 3 times. So in 2017, I was serving as an Air Force First Sergeant. Our motto in that role is my job is people, everyone is my business. But unfortunately in that year, I would lose my own brother, Lance Corporal Adam Jakimick, to suicide. The majority of veteran suicides are from guns. I store my weapons securely, not only for myself, but for my family. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide. My service never stops.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
And here's Heather with the weather.
Well, it's beautiful out there, sunny and 75, almost a little chilly in the shade. Now, let's get a read on the inside of your car. It is hot. You've only been parked a short time and it's already 99 degrees in there. Let's not leave children in the back seat while running errands. It only takes a few minutes for their body temperatures to rise, and that could be fatal.
Cars get hot, fast, and can be deadly. Never leave a child in a car. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Babes, what are you doing?
What? I'm just mowing the lawn.
No, it's blazing hot and dry out here. Don't you remember? Smokey Bear says.
Avoid using power equipment when it's windy or dry.
Where'd you learn this?
Oh, it's on
SmokeyBear.com with many other wildfire prevention tips.
Right. Thanks, honey bear.
'Cause remember, only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
When a warrior faces adversity, he fights through it. He finds a way. Freedom isn't free. Rolling strong. Belief. Believe you can, and you will.
Wheelchairs for Warriors provides mobility solutions to veterans and first responders injured in the line of duty. Join the mission and visit wheelchairsforwarriors.org.
Here's the deal. We gotta set ourselves up. See, retirement is the long game. We gotta make moves and make them early. Set up goals. Don't worry about a setback. Just save up and stack up to reach them. Let's put ourselves in the right position. Pre-game to greater things.
Start building your retirement plan at thisispretirement.org. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Our poll question via YouTube. Are you proud to be an American? 52% of you say no. 48% say yes. I didn't think it would be this evenly split. And I'd imagine people will look at a lot of the negative things that this country is and that this country stands for, and they're making their judgment. Or maybe I'm off base. I'm not sure why 48% of the people say yes, they're proud to be American, and 52%, which is the majority, are not proud to be an American. Are you looking at all the other things that are done in the name of this nation, or are you looking at your individual set of circumstances as an American? I will say this. Now, it's not equal, because nothing is equal. There are opportunities that exist here that we take for granted that other people, they'll die to get here. There are people, and I have to look at it in that context, as bad as it is for us, because Americans want everything. We want everything all the time at maximum speed, and we want to put as little effort into getting it as possible, which is insane. But if we're not getting everything that we want, every decision that we make has got to be handed to us on a silver platter. And if the silver platter ain't shiny enough, then we don't want it at all. That's us. You have some people that will die to get here. As bad as it is, including our leadership politically, they still would rather be here. That's got to be worth something. All I know is this. I'm thinking to myself, because they know what America is. They know America better than we know it. They study America. They don't speak English, for God's sake. We don't speak any other languages other than a little Ebonics. Oh, they study America profusely. American history is more thoroughly taught in other Western nations than it is here. Everybody's very curious about us. We're not really curious about anybody. Not really. Americans are very ethnocentric. But they study this nation. They know all about it. And they come here knowing how bad it is. And here's what's crazy. Some of them can come here and within the same generation, they can excel because they know this country very intently. And they would rather be here. So I got to think to myself, if people are dying to come here and are risking deportation, do you think that Donald Trump's heavy-handed immigration enforcement has stopped people from coming? Nope. And even the people that are here that are at risk of deportation, they're not saying, oh, I probably should pack up and leave now. And for a while, the Trump administration was giving people money to leave. If you were here illegally and didn't have all your paperwork done, they were going to give you a little bit of money for you to get the hell out of here. And the people are like, nah, I'll still take my chances. So wherever it is that people are coming from, all I know is I don't want to live there. As bad as we think it is here, it's way, way worse somewhere else. So I suppose I'm proud of that a little itty bitty tiny bit. Linda says, Sherwin, women are having children later in their lives for absolutely the best reasons. But that's also high-risk pregnancy and less fertility. So if women are waiting to have kids, if you wait to do something, guess what? You don't really want to do it. Everybody knows that the best time is to have children early. Have them young. Have them in your teens. Have them in your 20s. Now, we know economically that's not always feasible. But think about this. You know how much more life you have if all your kids are grown when you're 40? You're done raising kids. You're done. You can live the rest of your life. You can still work for the next 10, 15, 20 years, have a nice retirement, don't have to worry about raising dependents. Women having children later is an unintended or maybe intended consequence of people not wanting kids. Look at the era in which, and I'm just going to let statistics argue this. I'm not going to argue this subjectively. Look at the eras in American history where populations were exploding. Look when women and girls were getting pregnant early. Graduate from high school, get married, start a family. Now it's graduate from high school, go to college, go to graduate school, get your job, advance, promotion, all the while just like hoeing, just still hoeing, but waiting and oh, I'm not ready to find a man. And now I'm 42. Now I think it's about time. If you put having children off until you do all of that, you really didn't want them because you see them as a burden. You're preparing yourself for the burden that they actually are. So women having children later, and men too. I don't know if men are I don't know what the hell men are doing nowadays. I don't even know. Men have been replaced by the bear, and I'm okay with it. I'm fine with that. I know this much. And this is not to be offensive. considering the circumstances, the higher rates of suicide, alcoholism, drug use, drug abuse, early death, all of the things that impact man. And it's a lot. Like, obviously, nobody cares. I mean, we care. I'd rather be a man. I just would. Considering all of the negative social indicators, and men, like, I guess we're lonely because we don't live as long, and we get older. We have less and less social networks. Women tend to have bigger and more robust social networks as they get older because they get widowed. And also when women are older, like, oh, we're not competing against each other anymore. We might as well be friends in our 70s. I hated you when I was in my 20s, but now that the men are all dead and our husbands have all left us and have passed away, let's be friends now. Fair enough. Y'all can have that. But yeah, I'd rather be a man. And also, it pays a little bit more. In some cases, no, it does not. But I like my chances, you know? I like that when I sit down, and this is not a strike against women, because I have been doing my level best to tell when women apply for jobs, if you're qualified for the job and they want you, you're in the interview and you're talking salary, the employer will throw, okay, got good news for you, Sheila. Going to offer you $52,000 a year. Sheila jumping up and down and clapping her hands. Sheila, they're playing you. If they're offering you $52,000 a year, they don't want to pay you the other $35,000 that they have slated for that position because they know Sheila's going to take the 52 and be happy about it. And then Sheila going to get mad when she finds out everybody else is making $80,000 a year because she jumped at the 52. You got to negotiate for your salary. Hey, Sherwin, we're looking forward to bringing you on. And they hype it up. Oh, you're going to love this salary and benefits package. Oh, you're going to love it. Here it is. Boom. This is what we're going to offer you. Nope. Huh? What? Nah. Y'all going to have to come stronger than that. Y'all over here coming with the 10 of spades. I need you to come with the big joker. We got some folks coming by from UW Milwaukee, the Roar Ready program, because I want to give you guys some alternatives and some options for the kids, things for the young people to do, get them some academic enrichment and get them meeting and associating and socializing with other kids. You know, for those of you that care about such things, we're going to have a couple of folks coming in from my alma mater. My damn name is spelled wrong on the sheet here. Y'all got to get your lives. No, I ain't saying it's you, Xavier, but
we got our meeting this afternoon.
Who has the meeting, Sherwin Hughes or Sherwin Hughes? Sherwin Hughes.
I think Hughes.
Okay. Because Sherwin Hughes got shot. So did Sherman. Sherman Hughes got his brains blown out on Brady Street. Say that 10 times fast. All right, let's take a break. Come back. At 10 o'clock, we're talking to, who is it? Does it say? Yeah, Mark Young, who's UWM's Chief Recruitment and Outreach Officer, and Andrea Page, the Assistant Director of Welcome Programs. I don't think that I had a welcome program when I was at UWM. It was like, welcome to this tuition, boy. All right. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. We'll be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Life's better with American Family Insurance because we know you love working weekends. If it means working on your dream home, both inside and out. And we're here to help protect those dreams so you can enjoy peace of mind. Save up to 40% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products, pricing, and availability vary based on the way you purchase insurance and by state. Some exclusions apply. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating companies, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
I'm Sherwin Hughes, and I know the power of Stars and Stripes Honor Flight firsthand. As someone who's been on an honor flight, I can tell you it's a day you'll never forget. Stars and Stripes Honor Flight gives our oldest veterans who served in any location in June of 1975 or earlier a free one-day trip to Washington, D.C. for veterans. Airfare, meals, a coach bus tour, and special flight apparel are all included. It's a day of honor, gratitude, and camaraderie. Veterans who served in the Vietnam or Korean War go to flysshf.org and ask for an application.
For 75 years, the Muscular Dystrophy Association's voices have thundered through the halls of Congress,
For 75 years, we've willed the impossible into existence.
For 75 years, the MDA community has pushed the science,
shifted the narrative, and established the field of neuromuscular medicine.
And until that day, when this is all a thing of the past,
you couldn't stop us if you tried.
Join us and celebrate 75 years of breakthroughs at MDA75.org.
You can't buy a best friend. You can love them, walk them, pet them, and care for them, whether they want you to or not. You can take a picture or 50. You can fly to the moon, travel the world, or just stay in bed. You can't buy a best friend like that, but you can adopt one. There are millions of pets waiting for a best friend just like you. Help us save them all at bestfriends.org.
Talking about guns with others might not always feel comfortable, but it could save a life. Here's a way to start a conversation. Your family is going over to your neighbor's home for dinner for the first time. How would you ask if there are any unlocked guns in the home?
Hey, we're so excited for tonight. Before we come over, though, may I ask if there are any unlocked guns in your home?
Our guns are stored securely, locked in a safe that the kids can't access.
Awesome.
Learn how to have the conversation at agreetoagree.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Trying to figure out this person's name here. Your home, AFH. I don't know what that means, but they say women don't advocate for themselves usually because we weren't taught that. Not just at work, in society. Now we see young women doing that, and it's being called toxic. It depends on how you advocate for yourself. If you advocate for yourself, if you don't, I'm going to give you credit for saying that women are not taught how to advocate. Bashing somebody else is not advocating for yourself. When black people bash white people and we tell white people how horrible they are, that's not advocating for black people. It's a skill set, and how you can advocate for yourself and not harm anybody. And it depends on the person, of course, because maybe people are not used to what women advocating for themselves looks like. If I was hiring and I presented a salary, and I know how the game works, and I know what I'm looking for in an employee, I'll be honest with you, and a lot of employers are going to echo this sentiment. If I offer you a salary and you take it, I don't even know if I want you as an employee because you're not ambitious. We clearly, as the agency offering you the job, we want you. There's demand for you. So why would you just accept the first offer? If you don't at least say, let me think about it. You never offer at that moment, or never reply in that moment. Oh, we're going to offer you $54,000 a year. Hey, I'd like to take some time. I want to talk about this with my family. That is an employee, because now I'm on edge as an employer. If this is the person that we want to hire, because clearly we've selected them and they know that because we're talking salary with them. If they're not showing some kind of motivation and ambition, then I don't know if I want that person on my team, because if I'm offering you $52,000 a year and we all know that there's more money available for that position, but if you're content with the minimum, then the work you're going to give me is also going to be the minimum. And I don't know if I want you there, because I'm going to need you to be a go-getter, to be ambitious. I'm going to need you to, all the stuff that's on your resume and all these good references, I want you to prove all of that true with the quality of work that you do for me and my company. And if you don't see that by negotiating for a higher salary, at least test me. Show me you can be a negotiator. If you can't negotiate for yourself, you will never be able to negotiate on behalf of my company. And I'm sorry, unfortunately, we will not be able to extend this offer to you, but we'll keep your resume on file for a year. Lies, they get thrown away immediately. How often, if you think about that for a second, if you apply for a job and you didn't get it and they send you that letter, oh, we thank you so much for applying and taking an interest in our company. It was really a pleasure getting to know you. Unfortunately, at this time, we have decided to go in another direction. However, we will keep your resume and your information on file for the foreseeable future. Have any of y'all applied for a job, not gotten it, and then they call you back a year later talking about, hi, it's sorry, we didn't hire you the first time. You want to come work for us? No, they don't want you. They're just being very polite. Reginald says, me living outside the USA for 3 years was phenomenal. Yeah, sometimes you have to change your perspective, even changing your perspective from Milwaukee to just even another place in the country. This is a very unique place, and I think it weighs so heavy because we personally feel the trouble that we see, even though I have no business on Water Street. If somebody even offered, hey, Sherwin, we're getting together on Water Street, first of all, you're not my friends. Brady Street's the same way. Like, I don't hang out there. And a lot of people that are complaining about some of the behaviors, and rightfully so, after our guest from UW Milwaukee's, what's it called? The Roar program. Yeah, they're coming in. We're going to talk about some programs at UWM. I'm going to talk about, you can avoid all that stuff. You know that? It's almost good to know where the problem areas are in the city, because then just don't go there and none of that stuff will happen to you. And there are a lot of people that have adopted that sentiment. And some people have said, oh, I don't like Milwaukee at all. I don't like any parts of Milwaukee. I don't like the good parts because they're not good enough. And I don't like the bad parts because they're really, really bad. I'm going to leave Milwaukee and leave Wisconsin altogether. Or maybe they move a little bit further away. You can do that exact same thing. So instead of, because complaining about the crime and the trouble and the violence, and let's be clear, we don't have a solution for it. We don't. Because what it would take is more energy than any of us are willing to expend. Because if you really want to have an impact on the crime and the violence and unloved children turning into dangerous adults, you need to quit your current job if you're serious about it. Because all we do is talk, because social media allows us just to post stuff to make it look like we care. It's almost like we're doing a thoughts and prayers kind of thing. Like, oh my God, the violence is so terrible. Oh my God, I want it to stop. Shut up. If you're not willing to quit your job and dedicate the rest of your life to making conditions better, then you're just talking. So you might as well just move away, and we wouldn't fault you for that. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be back for hour 2.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
The performing arts do more than entertain. They bring the community together. From live performances and arts education to free community events, UPath helps support the organizations that keep southeastern Wisconsin vibrant. But it only happens because of people like you. Every gift helps keep the arts accessible and inspiring for the entire community. Join thousands of supporters and give today at upaf.org. UPath. One gift, regional impact.
Wherever there's a need in our communities, there's a United Way. Improving lives so everyone can thrive. Where more people can gain access to health care and nutritious food for their tables. Where more community members can benefit from financial education and get connected to local resources for housing support. And where children are given more chances to reach their full potential. Community is where we find our strength and where we share our hope. United is the way. Visit unitedway.org.
Are people around me safe when I vape? Science does not support that belief. Exhaled vape emissions linger in the air, affecting indoor air quality and bystanders in the same space through secondhand exposure. Vaping emissions can also accumulate on clothes, hair, dust, and furniture, leading to exposure risks to bystanders of all ages. And vaping around a pregnant person can lead to serious health impacts on fetal and childhood development. Enough with the puff. Learn more at ul.org/vaping.
My mom has decided to learn to paint, and she's good. My dad's now into creative cuisine, and I've already put on 6 pounds.
Learning new things comes with age.
My mom, she started forgetting my name and what we're talking about.
Forgetting well-known things doesn't. Memory loss may be a sign of Alzheimer's disease. Early detection gives you and your loved one time to plan for the future. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Reading aloud to children sharpens their listening skills, expands their vocabularies, and nurtures a lifelong love of reading. That's why Reading is Fundamental, the nation's leading children's literacy nonprofit, offers free monthly read-alouds by popular authors through its Rally to Read program. Visit rallytoread.org to watch the read-alouds and discover exciting reading activities for school and home. Visit rallytoread.org today.
You're listening to Milwaukee Black Talk on 101.7 FM.
The Truth.
And 1510 AM. W269DL. Milwaukee. A Milwaukee Black media company.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 101.7thetruth.com.
Welcome to Hour 2 of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. In studio, 2 esteemed UWM employees. We've got Mr. Mark Young. Mark, you are UWM's Chief Recruitment and Outreach Officer. Welcome to the program.
Thank you so much.
And Andrea Page, you are the Assistant Director of the Welcome Programs at my alma mater, the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee. Welcome to the show.
Good morning.
Tell us about Roar Ready. Now, our audience has been hearing the commercials that have been explaining the program, and they may have a little bit of information about Roar Ready. But if someone was to ask you directly, assuming nobody knows anything about this UWM program, what is Roar Ready and what does it stand for, Andrea?
So it formally stands for a Roadmap for Opportunity Achievement and College Readiness. But I would say it stands for something for youth to do and be engaged with. It stands for youth building positive skills, so confidence, meeting peers, doing things that get them excited. I would say if you're someone who engages with your own student or their friends and you're sick of them saying, I'm bored, I don't know what I want to do, I'd say Roar Ready stands for a thing that they'd be excited to go do. So we're just really a big blanket umbrella for the hundreds of programs that happen on campus. So we're no single program or single thing. We're kind of that front door to see what all exists. And there, again, hundreds of things. Just this morning as Mark and I walked around campus, we saw a soccer camp in action. We saw signs on rooms talking about a course for youth growing and planting and harvesting things. So it's really everywhere you look on campus, you can typically find something happening for youth in the community. And Roar Ready is just our way to filter that all through and make it a little bit easier to understand.
Mark, do you think that exposing youth in our community to the campus and campus life and some of the activities they can participate in with the Roar Ready program, do you think that gets them maybe more familiar with a collegiate and a college setting?
Absolutely. What Sherwin, you just described is really the basis of Roar Ready. It's to create that sense of belonging, exposure. We want to expose students to not only academic experiences, but also career experiences to ensure that students understand what's all available to them. We also recognize that there is no one singular pathway to access college or university. So we know that students can interact with athletics versus a camp versus actual curriculum in an age-appropriate environment. What Roar Ready does, as Andrea alluded to, is create that sort of that welcome door for students and families who maybe don't know how to engage or interact with the university.
Mark, if let's say children have a curiosity. Maybe they got a curiosity in business or agriculture or in some course of study that UW-Milwaukee offers. Does Roar Ready offer programs or exposure to things that young people may already have an interest in?
The short answer is yes. We have a ton of different programs for students to engage in. We also have curriculum through our College for Kids and Teens. We have some really unique programs, some that I'll look to Andrea to speak to, and some that are really exciting that are based in fun, but then others that are academic and really career focused that help students engage in learning, especially over the summertime. So, Andrea, I'd look to you to call out some of the most fun programs.
I'd say so. Last summer, I went to a showcase for the students who were involved in our Center for Pre-College programs. So a lot of the state and federal funded programs for students on campus. And for the week camp, the students got to develop their own food truck. And so the showcase they did at the end of summer was they used kind of cardboard and other supplies to build what the food truck would look like. They had to create menus. They had to create a budget. They had to show us how they'd advertise. So they made kind of fake social media posts to show what they do. And then they had to stand up as a group and tell us. It was like entrepreneurship in action, but in a fun way. It was so fun to see the small groups of maybe 4 or 5 students explain their vision and what happened and seeing things that are in there just because one person really loved the idea and how they picked the color of their food truck. And so I'd say, that's a great example where for our grade school students, something very focused. And as they continue through, we welcome 9th graders to campus and they get to meet the academic programs. They get to sit in classrooms and it's a bit more involved in the college search. And then eventually we'll gear students to join some of those like credit bearing through dual enrollment or other opportunities and really start to search and gain those college credits that by the time they land at college, hopefully at UW-Milwaukee, but really wherever their path takes them, they feel really equipped, comfortable, and ready for what comes next. But yeah, truly, Roar is helping guide students from one thing to the next and the next to make it make sense for them and who's ever supporting them at home.
Andrea Page, she is the Assistant Director of Welcome Programs, and also Mr. Mark Young is here. He is UW-Milwaukee's Chief Recruitment and Outreach Officer. We know that every child's pathway to higher education is not the same. For some, might be a direct line, K-12 education, boom, they're already often running in a 4-year college and university. For some students, like myself, bit of a circle and a little drifting path, and then eventually I made my way to the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee. Do you guys have a respect and appreciation for not every child's pathway to higher education is direct, and what kind of enrichment opportunities do you offer to children to put them kind of on that path toward getting a college education?
Yeah. So, Sherwin, similar to you, I took a roundabout way to arrive at college and university.
Best way to do it.
Best way to
get
do
a little
it.
life experience first.
Right. I also am first generation, so didn't have the parental experience who had navigated college and university. So my mother did her best to get me to where she said, hey, I can hand you off to the folks at this college. The best thing you can do is advocate. And when I think back to my own college experience, there were some things that I maybe could have had a road a little less traveled if I had more experience and exposure. And so really the basis of Roar Ready came out of, how do we help students access the college environment? How do we help them create a strong sense of belonging at the institution? Even at an institution like Milwaukee, we are still a predominantly white institution. And so having students build the confidence to be on that campus, to know that they belong, but also navigate the complexities of it is what Roar Ready is really intended to do. And so, yeah, having students, no matter where they are, what their journey is, being able to access college is something that's critically important to us. And I would also say, as we think about Milwaukee at large, our goal at UWM is to increase the college going rate. And so we, as Andrea spoke to, we would love for students to make the right decision and go to UWM like you did. But really, if they build the skills to go anywhere, that's what we want to see happen for the youth of Milwaukee.
Andrea, a lot of parents will tell you, well, I don't know about any of these programs. I want my young person to be involved in something positive and productive this summer. And that might be it's a common theme that I hear. Oh, Sherwin, we don't know what there is to do. We don't know where the opportunities are for young people. I'd imagine you guys are probably dealing with that as well. So how do you find the parents? How do you find the young people? How do you let them know about Roar Ready? Like, what is the strategy in outreaching to the community? Because these are some great programs, but they're not great if people don't know about them.
Yes.
So how do you do your outreach?
I'd say to anyone listening, head to our website, so uwm.edu/roarready. There's a mailing list there, so if you join that, you'll hear from me directly, or if you email us, it's me on the other side of it, as well as some colleagues of mine who help. And we've had people write in of all types of things. I'm looking for math for this age student and this for that age student, and we'll write back and say, here's the options that exist. Here's when registration is. So I'd say join our mailing list or just reach out if there's something you really want to do. But on our site as a whole, we feature a bunch of the programs. So instead of having to search and find the thing or know the right person, if you start on our website, again, uwm.edu/roarready, you'll be able to see some of those featured programs with year-round opportunities, free, low-cost things that are more involved and intensive. To start to understand. I think for a lot of people too, once you do it once, it becomes a little more familiar. If you've never been to campus, take a trip there. You might see a flyer in a hallway somewhere that offers an opportunity you're excited about. So I think it's, getting into our communities, tabling where we can, where we know people are organically just being and hanging out to get them. But the best way is to find us online and join that mailing list, because we'll really feed you the information you need to know, kind of right in time for when you need to know it, so you can sign your students up for things or be aware of a cool opportunity happening.
It's a real unique experience, because I think that a lot of maybe incoming freshmen, when they take a tour of a college or a university, it is very intimidating. First of all, campuses are large. The buildings are big. How do I get from one end of campus to another to make my 8:30 a.m. class? But then there's this thing that happens, and it's a beautiful phenomenon that I want more people to experience. This place that starts out as overwhelming and intimidating will become your home. And then this home will produce, its outcome will produce a totally different person. And I'm sure you all would agree that talking about college and higher education to your junior or your senior, you got to take the SATs and the ACTs now, that might be a little bit too late. When should parents start talking to their children about higher education? Because we would agree junior year and senior year might be a little late. When should parents start?
Well, if it were up to me, we'd put bibs on babies coming out of the hospital, branded with UWM. But I don't think it's ever too early, one, to talk about education and learning and create that positive connotation with school. I would say as early as 8th grade, we are seeing conversations start up, because we do see students in 8th grade who are gifted starting to consider advanced math and English courses. The earliest I've seen a student take a dual enrollment course, which is a college credit bearing course, was a 5th grade student who was taking college level math during my time in admissions. And so I don't think it's ever too early to help students understand that, hey, this is the path that we want for you, and you do belong on a college campus. We do a lot of work with our NPS partners through Roar Ready and just through admissions, where we bring every 9th grade NPS student to UWM for a campus tour. They also then will tour in 10th grade at MATC. So we show them the multiple different options, multiple different pathways, realizing that every student's pathway may be different. Some may start at a community college or a technical college, get that associate's degree, and then transfer over. Some may go directly to that four-year institution. But we want to expose students to all the different options, give them the tools and the know-how to make an informed decision, and then rest that decision with the student and their family.
We're speaking with Mark Young, UWM's Chief Recruitment and Outreach Officer, and Andrea Page, the Assistant Director of Welcome Programs. We are here talking about Roar Ready. You know, I've been accused of having my head in the clouds and up in the stars, and you guys have the Manfred Olson Planetarium and a whole bunch of other programs where if you have your head in the clouds and the stars, it actually can be productive. So we're going to take a break. We're going to come back. We're going to talk about that program. We're going to talk about college for kids and all of the things associated with Roar Ready. Andrea, can you give out the website if people are curious about more information?
Certainly, uwm.edu/roarready.
You're listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. Don't go anywhere. We'll all be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Hi, this is Sherwin Hughes from 1017 The Truth, and I want to talk to you about something bigger than just buying a house. I'm talking about building a legacy. Owning a home isn't just about four walls and a roof. It's about giving your kids a place where memories are made, where birthdays are celebrated, and where they always belong. It's about planting roots, knowing your neighbors, waving from the porch, and being a part of a community that feels like family. If you've been renting and wondering if home ownership is even possible, Axe Housing is here to work with you. An Axe Housing coach will help you create a plan, a budget, and move step by step toward owning a place you can truly call your own. They've already helped over 4,000 families become homeowners, and many are paying less than they were paying for rent. Don't let where you are today stop your family's tomorrow. Start your journey at axehousing.org. That is ACTS housing.org. Your legacy begins at home.
We asked parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
When I met both of them, it was like my missing pieces were found. Like it was just like an instant, these are my kids. If you're considering adopting a teen, just do it. Kids need families. I don't care the age, everybody deserves a family.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. Visit adoptuskids.org to learn more. A message brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. Beating in rhythm to the world you've created. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzz driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Mark Young is here. He's UWM's Chief Recruitment and Outreach Officer, and Andrea Page is also with us, and we're talking about Roar Ready. Andrea, give folks the website just one more time. We got to turn your microphone on first. Go ahead. Say one more time, Andrea.
uwm.edu/roarready.
Perfect. All right. The Manfred Olson Planetarium. Tell us more about that for those of us that have our heads in the clouds and the stars.
Yeah, and we know a lot of kids love stars, love space, love the moon. And so if that is a child in your home, you can check out the planetarium. It's right on campus. There's free events that happen. There's ticketed shows for specific topics. There's rooftop stargazing. So all this is open to the public. You don't have to be affiliated with UWM in any way to partake in this. And I'll also pitch that they do birthday parties. So for a really small fee, you can get a classroom there. You can bring your cake. You can bring your presents. You don't have to do the cleanup, the setup, or anything. You can have a planetarium show that's for your birthday kid and their friends. They welcome thousands of visitors a year. And so I think it's one of those, a special place on campus. And once you go once, you then keep going over and over. So again, free and ticketed shows. They list them all online. You can head to our website and you'll get linked over to them. And Jean, who runs that's actually been to space herself. And so she leads many of the shows that you could bring your youth and have them meet someone who's been to space, which is a pretty dynamic and thoughtful experience. So it's a good one right on campus.
Can all ages have birthday parties at the planetarium?
Yeah.
I'm looking for somewhere to have my 21st.
Well, there you go. Yep. All ages, I think. Sometimes they do list under shows what age, but I think they say like 3 and up, 4 and up, because the shows I think they're about a half hour long. So as long as you can feel good about sitting and watching space for that long, they really welcome anyone and everyone. The team there is so thoughtful in curating the experience alongside you.
Just for clarity, I turned 21 in the 20th century, just in case some of you were thinking I was actually turning 21 years old. I'm slightly older than that, but this is not about me. College for Kids and Teens actively kicking off this year with summer camps running for 1 or 2 weeks all summer long. Mark, what can you tell us about the College for Kids and Teens?
Yeah, so this is really curriculum based, but they add so many fun elements in College for Kids and Teens. The program array expands over Dragon Tales, features stories about dragons and princesses and pirates and more. They also do a camp that focuses on the zoo, where kindergartners and second graders will learn all about the different zoo animals and what it takes to operate. Word Detective Camp, I mean, they do a number of different camps. I've also heard about this wrestling camp, and I encouraged at one point on a different radio station, Chancellor Gibson, to be a part of the wrestling camp and volunteer to be body slammed. He didn't take me up on that, but I will continue to offer that as recommendation.
Are you doing the body slamming?
No, but if I'm asked to, I would.
You and me both.
Yeah.
Fair
okay.
enough. Proceed.
Camp supporting math and English learners, so really trying to enrich students' academics, especially in the summertime, where there can be a little bit of loss as students navigate the summer fun. And then You Got a Friend in Me kind of digs at the Toy Story a little bit. That program is particularly for 6th and 8th graders who are looking to make friends both in person and online, and how to do that safe and in a constructive way. Because we know these days, a lot of us, including adults, are far more comfortable, pounding our thumbs on that keyboard versus being in person and engaging with one another, in the shared space.
How do folks get more information? How do they sign up? And also, are there any fees that parents should be aware of?
Yep. So that program, find it online, uwm.edu/RoarReady. It'll link you over to College for Kids and Teens. They have programs through August. So if your student is maybe still sleeping after a holiday weekend, they're about to wake up and you're going to say, what are you doing for the rest of summer? Is a conversation come July, probably many are having. I'd say go check out the offerings. There are fees with most of them. They list them right on there so you can see, but these are kind of week-long, couple hours each camps. They have a way you can apply for scholarships and see what's available out there. But yeah, through August, they'll be running these camps, and they all happen right on campus, overseen by a lot of folks from the community, teachers who come in and spend their summer with the camps and lead them. And so it's a great time for students. But definitely check out what's still available the rest of the summer.
The Center for Pre-College Programs offer middle and high school students opportunities to build academic confidence, discover new interests, and experience campus life in meaningful ways. Tell us more about those programs, Andrea.
Yeah, those are a lot of the state and federal programs. So if people have ever heard of Upward Bound, or maybe they've heard of TRIO, math and science-based camps. So these come through that online, list any of the requirements for programs or the fees. A lot of them do come with an ability for fee waiver due to how they're funded. So some are actively happening. I'd say pop online and see what's left for this summer. But know that these happen every summer. So if you missed out on something, next summer, mark your calendars to tune in, and then their academic programs launch September 1st, and they have academic year-long programs, but these are anything from day-long camps, more tutoring-style camps. I know for a while they were dropping eggs off the top of buildings and parachutes they created so they could see if the egg would crack or not when they fall. So a lot of these offerings, as hopefully you've caught on, mix this kind of creativity, peer connection with formal learning. And I think earlier you were asking when to engage a student. I'd say sometimes that formal learning, the classroom setting is not where your student thrives, and you're like, how do I get them? We got to go through school. Finding ways to connect them with some of these offerings might be that bridge to show them it can be fun to learn in a different and engaging dynamic way, and then get them back engaged in their classroom setting a little bit more or different. So I think all of these are a really nice supplement, especially the Center for Pre-College Programs, to what's formally happening in a classroom setting, because it just takes a little bit different angle. They're engaged with college students, typically work for the programs and help host them. And so I think can be a really good connection point for youth. But definitely check out those offerings, because it, again, can be 3-week-long things. Some of them stay in the residence halls during summer. So a lot of cool opportunities for students to spend a lot of time on campus and really get connected with other peers from the Milwaukee area is, I think, one of the really good benefits of those offerings.
I've always wanted to drop the egg off of the building, because I know exactly how to engineer a contraption in which an egg could survive a fall from a multiple-story building. I'm not going to tell you.
Sounds like we got to bring you in as a guest next summer.
I
We've
think
got to have you.
Teach a master class.
I will show people a couple of things on how you can engineer a device or a contraption to make sure an egg does not break when you drop it off of a very, very tall building. I got a question for you guys. Are there ways in which young people, say 8th grade, freshman, sophomore in high school, can participate in programs and earn college credit? Is this anything that Roar Ready offers? Or are there programs you guys can refer?
Yeah, I'm happy to speak on them. So dual enrollment is the big buzzword. So if your student hears that term, it means taking college classes while you are not in college yet. And so that happens two ways. One way is that they're teaching college credits at high schools. So high school teachers, administrators are getting equipped and certified to teach. And so you can take the class right at your high school. There's also students that travel to campus and take classes on campus. So that happens. There's something called the Early College Credit Program. I'd say check the deadlines for that because they do want you to flag your interest pretty early. But then you could take college credit. Any student at a public institution in the state of Wisconsin is able to. And then if you're at a private choice charter, just check in with your administrators and see if they're part of that program because it's a statewide program. But you could take UWM classes. Yes, any high school student can apply, and then you're accepted and able to engage in those offerings. Anything to add, Mark, about our dual enrollment?
Yeah, I would say with dual enrollment, it's a significant cost saver for students and families. So any college credits that you're assuming in high school, oftentimes you're not paying for, and so it's saving students and families tens of thousands of dollars. We're seeing through just a program with MCube, between UWM, MPS, and MATC, students can come in and get 21 credits before they graduate high school. That's a semester and a half for students. And so I've even seen students come in who are pretty aggressive with their early college credit program, come in with an associate's degree completed. So there are ways to shave down your time and your investment at the college level by taking dual enrollment courses.
My entire bachelor's degree cost like $22,000. It costs more than that now. So just parents, if you have opportunities to enroll your young people in programs, and it's probably, I don't know, it's probably $23,000 now, but it was only 22 grand back in the day. So we know the college costs have gone through the roof, but if there are opportunities for young people to get credits to reduce that cost, I would encourage them to take advantage of the Stritch Family Literacy Center. That was a program that I was taken over or adopted from Cardinal Stritch. Is that correct?
Yeah, it is one of my, I put it on my hidden gems. I keep it in mind because it's really serving kindergarten through third grade as their primary audience, so really young readers. But yes, it was housed over at Cardinal Stritch and has now found a new home on campus at UW-Milwaukee. And so they take a few students right now, but in this spring, they're going to double their capacity to take a lot more students. And so if you look up Stritch Family Literacy Center online, you'll find their interest form to flag your interest now. But they're really looking to either equip learners who need a little more help or help equip parents for those learners who are really advanced and you're struggling with what to teach them now and how to keep them engaged in something they love. And their main goal is to help children discover a joy in learning and really build their confidence around reading. So I'd say look at that. It happens right on campus. Regular sessions happening for students. You kind of get set with a weekly schedule of when you go in for that extra help or, again, that additional learning for students who just love it. And that one, again, low cost, free for most, and you can engage by just signing up on their interest form, and they'll reach out as they open more seats. So look to hear more around the new year on what that program is offering.
Mark, any advice for parents who are looking for ways to engage their child and give them positive, world-expanding experiences?
Best advice I could share is put boots on the ground. So get to campus and just walk around. There are signage all across the institution that will pull you in, that will likely make you a little bit more curious. Stop and talk to folks, and it's likely if you enter into the Welcome Center, we're going to engage you with probably more time than you have available to you at that point to share all the different ways that you can get involved. I would say for those who not only have young children but also are working in community-based organizations or within the school district, you know, we love to think about ways to break the mold. We want to partner with folks to make sure that students are getting a visit experience that is tailored to their interests and to their identities. And so don't hesitate to reach out to Andrew or I or anyone on our team so that we can orchestrate an opportunity for students to put boots on the ground and become more comfortable and build their confidence.
We do have a lot of listeners that are educators themselves and are involved in community work and advocacy work, and I really appreciate that you guys prioritize partnerships with some of those folks to offer these well-rounded experiences for young people. Anything else you guys would like to add in summary? We got to give the website out one more time. And anything else you guys would like to share with the audience?
I'd say come find us. There's something for everyone. I firmly believe that. And I think I'm lucky to work in a career where lives are changed every day. And I think what Mark said, come spend time on campus. You'll be hopefully pleasantly surprised at what all exists, or even just go to a Panther athletics game if you're looking for a fun way to start engaging. And there's so much to do. So yeah, head to uwm.edu/roarready to learn more.
And if people just want to take a tour of the campus, they just want to walk around, take a look, we offer those as well.
5 days a week, twice a day, select Saturdays in summer. There's a way to sign up to do it field trip style. So it's my team on the other side of that. So if you reach out or just walk in the Welcome Center, we will be happy to get you set up and seeing things.
I'm looking forward to coming back to campus to not just drop eggs off of buildings, but also have my head in the stars and the clouds at the planetarium. Mark, Andrea, it's been a pleasure. Thank you guys so very much.
Thank you.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. We'll be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
At Milwaukee College Prep, we believe brilliance lives in every child. Here, students are challenged, supported, and celebrated every single day. With small class sizes, dedicated teachers, and a proven track record of academic excellence, MCP is helping Milwaukee kids reach their fullest potential. Enrollment is still open for grades K-3 through 8. Spaces are limited. Apply today. Give your child a school where they'll thrive. Visit mkeprep.com or call today. Milwaukee College Prep, brilliance lives here.
Doctors Without Borders is delivering life-saving medical care where it's needed most in communities around the world. From bandaging war-wounded patients in Sudan to providing clean drinking water in Haiti, we're in more than 70 countries worldwide, bringing patients from sick to recovering, from emergency to aid, from crisis to care. This life-saving care is made possible by a global movement of supporters like you. Thank you.
Mommy, can I sit in the front seat just this one time? Please, please, please.
No, not yet.
But why?
Because I love you, and you're just not ready yet. Now, get in the back so I can get you in your car seat, please.
Putting your kids in the right seat for their age and size is an act of love. Check that your kids are in the right seat at nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Love protects. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
In sitcoms, when someone has a problem, they just blurt it out and move on.
Well, I lost my job and my parakeet is missing. How was your day?
But the real world is different. Managing life's challenges can be overwhelming. So, what do? We get support. The Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council have mental health resources available for you at loveyourmindtoday.org. That's loveyourmindtoday.org. See how much further you can go when you take care of your mental health.
For 250 years, our armed forces have bravely served America. Wounded Warrior Project honors that legacy by supporting post-9/11 service members and veterans like Anthony, a Marine who was injured by a roadside bomb in Afghanistan.
They carried me through my injuries, not just my physical, but my mental. And seeing other vets doing the same thing helped me tell myself, hey, you can do this.
Join us in honoring warriors at woundedwarriorproject.org/America.
In the United States, a vehicle is stolen every 31 seconds, about as long as this message. Luckily, you can take a few easy steps to protect your car in the same amount of time. Remove your valuables, roll up your windows, don't leave your car running unattended, lock your doors, and take your keys or fob. If you have information about a crime, call the police. If you suspect insurance fraud, also call 800-TEL-NICB. A public service message from the National Insurance Crime Bureau.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
the third brother of five. Welcome back. That was a great conversation with Mark and Andrea from UW Milwaukee, and a whole host of programs that are available via Roar Ready. I really do believe, not just because I went there, that the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee is, in fact, a premier institution right here in our backyard, and they do offer programs for children of all ages and even for some adults to get involved. And if you are doing advocacy work or if you are an educator, they're looking to partner with you as well. And so there's a lot of like collaborations like this that exist throughout the city. The tough part is getting the information about some of these programs out to the public. And I'm so glad that UW Milwaukee has chosen 1017 The Truth as a media platform to tell people about some of the things that young people can get involved in, especially as we lament all of the crime and the violence. Now, you got to admit, though, this is the thing, and we're stuck on this. Because you see fights at Summerfest, cops that are falling over because a firework went off near them. But then there was a police officer that was hit with a vehicle. That's not nice at all. Some people are too far gone to save. You know, when there's a natural disaster, and we don't like natural disasters, but there's not a lot we can do about them because they're natural and, well, they're disastrous. But you got to triage the patients. Somebody's face has been taken off. I'm not sure what kind of natural disaster steals faces, but we can't save this one. They have no face. But then there's someone who might have like a hangnail. I mean, that's kind of an extreme natural disaster where one person has lost their face and the other person has got a slightly broken fingernail. You can save the person with the broken fingernail. We can't save everybody. And I think that and maybe it's guilt where adults may say, oh, I feel partially responsible for this. Maybe I should have been more involved. I should have been more engaged. I should have mentored more kids. And they think that they can save everybody. They can't. And the other thing, you got to be realistic. Who's going to invest money? Where's the money going to come from? It's not coming from the government. Stop it, because that money comes out of your pocket. And if you're not already giving and donating to nonprofits and agencies and other community-based organizations, then you're not going to want your tax dollars to go to it. Stop thinking the government prints money. We have to beg for money here in Milwaukee. So every time we come up with a program, who is going to pay for it? If you're not willing to put your money up, you got to stop offering stuff now. Here, Sherwin, this is what we need. We need to have a roller skating rink. You got roller skating rink money? Like my mama used to say, we got roller skating at home. Got to go nowhere to roller skate. Skate around in the basement in a circle. Go touch the wall and skate back. There's some people you can't save. Now, we do have an obligation as Milwaukeeans to protect our investments, which are our business districts and our entertainment districts. But then on a side note, and I don't think that we go anywhere as a community, and no, I'm not going to talk about what other groups do, what other ethnicities do, because I don't care what they do. And let me tell you why. Because their historical interactions with the United States are different than ours. And what we cannot often do is just see what another like ethnic group or racial group does, how they move and how they operate, and think that we can adopt that exact same philosophy and have it work for us. One size does not fit all, especially when it comes to disciplining children. There is not one size that fits all, but it seems like it's this cultural adhesion when it comes to Black people and how you should properly discipline a child. And you got to beat them pretty severely because, you know, that's the only way Black kids can learn. And if that is your philosophy, then who am I to take that away from you? But there is a widely held set of beliefs that using what we call corporal punishment is a way in which we can properly discipline children. But it's interesting because, I don't know, probably 5 or 6 out of 10 Black parents, Black families, members of our community over a certain age will say, absolutely, beat a child senseless. It's almost like when people, it's really weird. So when you think about it objectively, It's almost like when somebody has a really, really good time. They went out over the weekend. Oh, man, what did you do? I got so drunk, I can't even remember. Wow, you had a good time. Isn't that just weird? So to discipline a child, you got to go to the extreme, beat them almost to death because we know, or we think we know. I'm just going on a widely held belief that is when I say fundamentally flawed and it is damaging our children permanently. Look, there's some information I recently found out that I'm almost afraid to tell you because it will upend what Black people hold so fast and so tight onto, and it's how we discipline our child. And some of you believe that the way that you were disciplined kept you from being out there in the streets and kept you from doing all sorts of things. There's probably a whole bunch of other things in your developmental environment, especially because you may have grown up in an era where parents wanted their kids. If you are a child born of parents who were familiar with the Jim Crow South and civil rights gains and then the opportunities that came, because Black people did a lot of excelling in a real short period of time. Between the Fair Housing Act and the Voting Rights Act, we took those to the max. And employment discrimination, like federal laws that protected us on the job and integrating the schools to a certain extent, in a very short period of time, Black people, Black families excelled and got educations, made a hell of a lot more money. We bought houses, clearly not everybody, but if you look at the amount of progress that was made in a real short period of time, it was remarkable. And so if your parents are of the era when they didn't have that, when they were young, and then in the course of their lifetime, they saw the fight, the struggle, the opportunities, and the legislation, they wanted their children to take advantage of opportunities that did not exist for them. And you know what that required? A tremendous amount of discipline. And the discipline wasn't always physical punishment. But our parents did not want us to be lazy and have a lax work ethic because there are opportunities that existed for us that didn't exist for them. So that went into their thinking. They wanted their children to be successful. That is not a widely held cultural belief, especially with some parents who are under the age of 40, certainly parents under the age of 30. They don't care if their kids are successful or not. I don't think that they do. I don't think that they're saying, hey, child, Black people can take advantage of so many opportunities that exist. We want you to have a high level of discipline and be able to be objective about these opportunities. I don't think that that's very common. Where a generation or two ago, I think parents did stress you have to have a level of personal discipline in navigating new opportunities and doors that are open that were not open for our parents. Okay, so that's going into the mode of thinking. They wanted us to take advantage and to be successful. And some of you see how you were physically disciplined as your pathway to the discipline that you exercise as an individual. And maybe it did. But if corporal punishment was that useful, and if it was that perfect way to have angelic children, then why do we take it out of the schools? We took it out of the schools for a reason, because I don't care what you call it. It's still child abuse. Period. Call it what you want to, but we have too many Black children that are the survivors of child abuse. And a child's brain is a work in progress. And a child's body, physiologically, biology, can't tell the difference between being punched in the face by a stranger and discipline from a parent, and parents fighting, and the child being emotionally neglected and abused. The body reacts the same way no matter what the reason was for that physical interaction. That's why teachers don't do it anymore. That's why it is illegal, because it damages kids. Now I'm going to drop a bomb on you. I'm going to take a break, and I want you to think about it. Some of you were physically disciplined by your kids where you had to pull your pants down and get spanked. Pull your pants down, pull your underwear down, and you were going to get spanked. I need you to know something. Now, you're not going to like it, but it's going to be the truth, and we're not going to move forward until you know the truth. You were sexually abused. You may think, Sherwin, no, that's not what that is. If a child was asked to remove clothing where they were physically hit and they were partially naked, those children will show, in adults, will show the signs of being survivors of sexual abuse. Now, I'm not telling you what to do. I ain't going to tell you how to raise your kid. But if that happened to you, first and foremost, I am sorry. Number one. Number two, you are a victim, and you will, come hell or high water, show the signs and the symptoms of being a child that was a victim of sexual abuse. Just because your parents didn't think it was doesn't mean that that's not how that child ultimately and subconsciously will interpret it. If you were asked to remove articles or if you were stripped, think about if you did that to an adult. You're going to jail for 40 years. But you do it to a kid because they stole an ice cream? Oh, great. Look who we got on line one. We'll take a break, come back and talk to. You know who we're going to talk to. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. Will be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Milwaukee business owners, this is your moment. Every Friday at 8 a.m., call in to 101.7 The Truth for What the Business Is. Tell us what your business is, where you're located, and one thing you've learned along the way. What the Business is powered by We Energies, delivering the energy that powers local business. Fridays at 8 a.m. on 101.7 The Truth. Fridays at 8 a.m. on 101.7 The Truth.
Life's better with Drive My Way from American Family Insurance, because we know it's more than just a car. It's your escape pod, your adventure mobile, your memory maker. And we help protect the dreams that drive you. Personalize what you pay for auto insurance and you could save between 10 and 35%. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products, pricing, and availability vary based on the way you purchase insurance and by state. Unsafe driving behaviors may increase your rate. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating companies, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
I always had to be so good, no one could ignore me. Carve my path with data and drive. But some people only see who I am on paper. The paper ceiling, the limitations from degree screens to stereotypes that are holding back over 70 million stars. Workers skilled through alternative routes rather than a bachelor's degree. It's time for skills to speak for themselves. Find resources for breaking through barriers at tearthepaperceiling.org. Brought to you by Opportunity at Work and the Ad Council.
I'm Chris Jakimick. I served in the United States Air Force and I deployed 3 times. So in 2017, I was serving as an Air Force First Sergeant. Our motto in that role is my job is people, everyone is my business. But unfortunately in that year, I would lose my own brother, Lance Corporal Adam Jakimick, to suicide. The majority of veteran suicides are from guns. I store my weapons securely, not only for myself, but for my family. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide. My service never stops.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
And here's Heather with the weather.
Well, it's beautiful out there, sunny and 75, almost a little chilly in the shade. Now, let's get a read on the inside of your car. It is hot. You've only been parked a short time and it's already 99 degrees in there. Let's not leave children in the back seat while running errands. It only takes a few minutes for their body temperatures to rise, and that could be fatal.
Cars get hot fast and can be deadly. Never leave a child in a car. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Babes, what are you doing?
What? I'm just mowing the lawn.
No, it's blazing hot and dry out here. Don't you remember? Smokey Bear says.
Avoid using power equipment when it's windy or dry.
Where'd you learn this?
Oh, it's on
SmokeyBear.com with many other wildfire prevention tips.
Right. Thanks, honey bear.
'Cause remember, only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Welcome back to the program. Hello, Bob.
Hello, Sherwin. Boy, I'm telling you, said so much, today, and I'm going to just go straight out. It's a loaded question. Glad to be an American. Why do I say it's a loaded? I'm proud to have integrity. I'm proud that I raised 3 kids by myself on a back-breaking job. I'm proud, Sherman, that
Sherwin.
That I'm trying. Sometimes I fail, but I'm trying to be an example to my brothers and sisters. Now, I don't care if I live in Britain, France. It's good that our military looks out for us. It's good. It's good. But I'm proud of the 3 things that I just said. Now, I think that they stopped spanking, made it a law to stop whooping and spanking kids because people don't know how to do it. They beat their kids. They pull their pants. No, you have to know how to. You pop them. People. So many adults don't know how to parent and beat their kids. And I'm tired of you talking about skating. I love skating. You got to have a GM2 plate, bone wheels. You got to have a leather boot and a wooden floor. I can tell you don't know nothing about skating because you talking about skating outside. No, man, I used to fly to the music. Yes, get a skating ring. Man, I had so much fun for 7 or 8 years. Boy, we all ate at Denny's. And that's about all I got to say. I know you got to have something to say about what I just said, but I said some good stuff here. I said some good stuff. Can you handle it, Sherman?
No.
I don't know.
Can't handle it.
Oh, well, Sherman, now listen now.
Okay.
I got more. Better watch it. I got more. You're irresistible.
Oh, Jesus Christ, Bob. That's enough. I had to hang up.
Pause.
I don't. Hold on, man. See that? Listen to me. Sherwin, why are you so mean about? You think I need a 72-year-old one-armed man calling me irresistible? Well, I suppose I should take the compliment. That's not who I want to be irresistible to. I'm not one of them kind of people. No shade to them kind of people. Okay? Hey, if you like it, then I respect you. But that's not. I didn't even want to know what he was going to say, how he was going to, recover from that.
Jeez.
Sherwin, sometimes when I'm alone in my room, sometimes I stare at the wall, and in the back of my mind, I hear my conscience call, Sherwin. Good. I can't. I was gone for a couple of days, and then I come back to violence. I want to give you guys some... When I share with you the economic impact of Brady Street and Wilder Street, you'll see it as an investment, and you may be even more outraged that there are people who don't respect the money that is generated from having those entertainment districts, because if they weren't there, and if businesses are deciding, like a Walgreens and CVS and a lot of grocery stores, if they decide to pack up and leave, then a lot of the money that we have for our city services is also going to dry up. Because we need tourism, and if tourists are scared, they're just going to go somewhere else. And right now, there are alternatives to going to Water Street and Brady Street. Someone will build an alternative, and they'll build the alternative outside of the reach of the bad ingredients that are committing social vandalism. And then another community will get revenue that should be in the city of Milwaukee. So when we come up with all these fantastic ideas and these programs, we won't have the revenue for them because the places that are generating the tax revenue are just going to go somewhere else. Now you have this thing now where you got content creators on social media, black waiters and waitresses, black servers don't even want to wait on black tables. It's just the craziest thing. we are being thoroughly rejected by our own society. Especially, you got to keep in mind, black people don't really produce anything of tangible value. We produce like culture, which is great, art and entertainment, but we don't build anything. If black people built something, and if we had like the monopoly on building like a tangible structure that America needed to survive, it used to be our labor. But now nobody wants black labor anymore. And if nobody wants black labor anymore, they got to think about this objectively now. Stop thinking emotionally. Why would you spend money educating black kids? For what? They're just going to go to jail anyway. Why would we spend money to make them competitive? Because we don't need or want black labor. America doesn't want it. There was a time where America absolutely needed it, but then when America was done demanding black labor, whether it be chattel or wage labor in factories and manufacturing and breweries and automotive plants, when we didn't need black labor for that anymore, now what? Now black people can create culture, but everybody can't create music. And even the music that is created, in order for it to be publicized and promoted and, more importantly, distributed, it has to be awful. It's got to mock black culture. But here's the thing. I still like it. I still see it as entertaining, but look at what it is. We're not producing anything tangible. If black people produce semiconductors, the black community would never have another negative police interaction ever, because we're needed. If we produce something, if we have the monopoly on the production of something, and right now we have the monopoly on the production of a culture, but the culture mocks us. So what becomes the most popular black music is an example because it's the most universal of all languages. If someone does not know anything about black people and black culture, I would ask them to listen to the song by Young Miami. Spend that. That's all you need to know. It mocks the sanctity, the chastity, the history, and the production of black people over generations. It throws it all away. Tyler Perry's $1 billion studio, and you can argue Tyler Perry, maybe he makes movies for the culture, maybe he destroys and absolutely degrades black women in a way that's so covert, black women don't even see it. He mocks black women by playing Medea, because I get so lost in the Medea character that I forget that's Tyler Perry. Medea is its own person. What sells now is what mocks us, okay? And so let's say somebody wants to roll the dice. Like, nobody's investing in us. I don't know why people think that, oh, you better invest in the black community. Or what? What are we going to do? Threaten to vote? What are we going to do? Threaten to move away? Oh, no, nobody wants us here in the first damn place. They're actually trying to get us to leave. It's Mitt Romney's strategy from 2012 that he wanted to use against the immigrants. He said, we're going to make life so miserable for the immigrants here, they're going to self-deport. When you got black folks that are leaving Milwaukee to go to other places, we are literally self-deporting. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be back for hour 3.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Are you looking for a place to shop that offers a fair market price? Or how about a place that is clean with a friendly atmosphere, has been recently remodeled? You need to visit Century Food Store on 92nd and Lisbon Avenue. They offer a wide variety of grocery items, meats, and fresh vegetables at a fair market price. And don't forget the hot food section, which offers soul food, Indian, and Mexican foods. This week, buy boneless New York strip steak for $14.99 a pound. Sweet corn 5 for $2.50. Essential everyday dressing for $1.79. Essential everyday chunk or shredded cheese 2 for $4. So what you waiting for? You can also order groceries through DoorDash, Uber Eats, and Instacart, or stop by Century Foods at 92nd and Lisbon Avenue today.
When a warrior faces adversity, he fights through it. He finds a way. Freedom isn't free. Rolling strong. Belief. Believe you can, and you will.
Wheelchairs for Warriors provides mobility solutions to veterans and first responders injured in the line of duty. Join the mission and visit wheelchairsforwarriors.org.
Here's the deal. We gotta set ourselves up. See, retirement is the long game. We gotta make moves and make them early. Set up goals. Don't worry about a setback. Just save up and stack up to reach them. Let's put ourselves in the right position. Pre-game to greater things.
Start building your retirement plan at thisispretirement.org. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
For 75 years, the Muscular Dystrophy Association's voices have thundered through the halls of Congress.
For 75 years, we've willed the impossible into existence.
For 75 years, the MDA community has pushed the science,
shifted the narrative, and established the field of neuromuscular medicine.
And until that day when this is all a thing of the past,
you couldn't stop us if you tried.
Join us and celebrate 75 years of breakthroughs at MDA75.org.
You can't buy a best friend. You can love them, walk them, pet them, and care for them, whether they want you to or not. You can take a picture or 50. You can fly to the moon, travel the world, or just stay in bed. You can't buy a best friend like that, but you can adopt one. There are millions of pets waiting for a best friend just like you. Help us save them all at bestfriends.org.
You're listening to Milwaukee Black Talk on 101.7 FM.
The Truth.
And 1510 AM. W269DL. Milwaukee. A Milwaukee Black media company.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Welcome to Hour 3 of The Truth with me, Sherwin Hughes. Our telephone number, if you're so inclined, is 833-212-1017, 833-212-1017. Read a couple of YouTube comments, see what is going on in the chitter chat box. Let's see. How do I even say this name? Unkajed, Unkaged Productions 414 says, if you don't listen to authority, you'll be beat by someone. How do you think they keep inmates under control? And then they said, let me rephrase that. People only conform if violence is a possibility. Only troglodytes. I don't need violence to conform. Hey, Sherwin, here's what the directions are. Follow directions and you'll make money. Done. You ain't even got to raise your voice at me. Now, some people only understand violence. I think somebody also in the YouTube comments said, oh, if a police officer gives you directions or orders 3-4 times in a row, you need to comply. The problem is when a child does not respect the authority of adults, because these same kids will talk mess to their teachers, their mothers, their fathers, their grandparents. They're going to see the police officers the exact same way. The problem is when one of these children talks recklessly and does not listen to the words of an adult because they lack discipline, a lot of times the parent don't do nothing. And that starts early. And so this child or teenager, whoever they're, could be somebody in their 20s, when a cop is telling them to do something, they don't respect the authority of the police officer, because if you don't respect the authority of your caretakers and caregivers, you're not going to respect the authority of anyone, and then you're going to die. It's really, really simple. So if respect is not taught early on, then it might not ever be learned, and the consequences are severe. And it's infuriating. That's why I'm so glad I was able to tune out from some of this stuff for a couple of days, because I love it when it's a boyfriend and a girlfriend, okay? And the boyfriend vehicle gets pulled over. Boyfriend is asked to step out of the car. Out here comes the girl, but he ain't doing nothing. Leave him alone. And now she has her phone out. And they're trying to pull the boyfriend out of the car. And now the girlfriend is telling the cop to stop touching on him like that. Stop grabbing on him. And now you have the girlfriend all up in the cop's face. And then the cop tells the woman, get back, step back. I don't want to tase you. I don't want to hurt you. She said, no, shut up. You can't talk to my man like that. And then she gets tased, and all of a sudden it's the abuse of a black woman. If you don't respect authority, like, what do you think is going to happen? At some point, People are not going to want to be police officers. You understand if there's a revolt of police officers in this city, how screwed we are? Oh, by the way, the Midtown Project, congratulations, y'all killed it. And I'm glad that it's killed. Let me tell you why. Because I want people to see the dominoes that fall after that. That pick and save in Midtown, done. That will be a vast wasteland forever. You might as well gentrify it now. A community that has damn near nothing, because remember, we don't produce anything. If black people produce something that America actually needed and not just frivolous entertainment, and I know that we take our entertainment very seriously, but the best black entertainment, as far as commercial success, is not historical documentaries on how great we are. It's how we mock one another and how we dance like idiots and how we just act an absolute fool. Like, that is what sells. And America can live without that. But we don't produce anything tangible. And if we don't produce anything tangible, there is no need, desire, or demand for black labor. And if we are in a place where there is nobody's going to the black community saying, oh my God, please come and work for us. Please, we need you. We need your intelligence and your brain power. Please, there's a whole industry that needs you. That's not happening. That used to happen. It doesn't happen anymore. So think about the dominoes that are falling. If there's no need for black labor, then why would you teach black kids to read and to do math? You think it's a coincidence that with all of the billions of dollars we give the school district, the reading levels are what they are? That is the production of Milwaukee Public Schools almost intentionally. Because if you're producing a bunch of super productive black children, they're going to represent competition. And if white people are shrinking in number, and they are, why would they want an increasing number of overall minorities to be more academically prepared and superior? They will not. Y'all don't understand racism. Racism will tell you that, oh my God, the children aren't doing very well and we need more money. We'll give it, and they'll use the money to further suppress black academics and everybody should know this by now, because if you're voting on a referendum, you should know where the money goes. The money goes to the highest performing schools so they can stay that way. The schools in which teachers and administrators and teachers and administrators' kids fill up the seats in the highest performing schools. Where our children need access to those schools, there's just no seats left. And then even when we come up with alternatives, we have high performing charter schools or private schools. And then we have the parental choice program that allows families that can't afford the tuition to send their kids to the same private schools that white folks send their schools to, or send their kids to, rather. There's political pushback, and they want to end the voucher program. Probably every single candidate running for governor, except for David Crowley, will end the voucher program. You got to understand why. Private schools only exist to resist school integration. The whole modern era of whiteness in this country is to make enough money where you can get away from the benefits of the civil rights movement for black people. I got to say that again. The whole reason for this existence of whiteness right now, and why Donald Trump got reelected on a campaign of retribution, is because white people want to have enough money and enough opportunities where they can move away from the benefits of the civil rights movement. So if we are more educated, more highly trained, and if we're getting great jobs and we're buying houses, then white people need to have more access, more opportunity, and more resources so they can move away from us. I was just listening to some stuff this morning. By 2030, the International Space Station, is it 2030? I think it's 2030, 2033. The International Space Station is going to be a colony on the moon. They're literally leaving Earth because we have moved out to the suburbs. White people are running out of places to run. Well, I guess we got to go to the moon and wait. Oh, just wait. Wait until space tourism. So in the lifetime of maybe your grandchildren, space tourism is going to be an option, just like going to Fort Lauderdale or going to New Orleans. Well, what do you guys want to do this weekend? You guys want to go to New York for the weekend? You want to go to Washington, D.C.? You want to go to L.A.? Mom, can we go to the moon? Oh, fine, but we can only go for 2 days this time. Wait until you see the racial disparities in space travel, space tourism. Oh, just wait. You're going to love it. So their whole objective is to move as far away from us as possible. But the only reason why we even have private schools, it was a response to, just like Trump was a response to Barack Obama, the invention of private schools was to not have to adhere to state-mandated integration. And so now there's political resistance, especially in the North, especially in Milwaukee, to black children getting a voucher to go to a private school, because private schools were created to be majority white, because white people want space. And I don't blame them. I don't. Because if you are raised in this nation in which 53% of you are proud to call yourselves Americans, and if you are a Caucasian person, your first natural instinct is to hate black people. It's very easy to pick that up pretty much anywhere because we represent competition. Economic, academic. So Trump comes in, he's like, oh, I got you. And then Xavier just gave me some information about some breaking news. This one comes from the Seattle Times. Let's go out to Washington for a second. When Kenny Miller started as a shift manager at his local Sheetz convenience store in Altoona, Pennsylvania, he felt something that he rarely had as a black man in the workplace. He felt trusted and he felt appreciated. When he was fired a few weeks later in the summer of 2020 after a background check, Miller, then 27, was, of course, devastated. A nonviolent felony drug conviction from his teenage years had never caused him to be denied a job before, and he had already proved he could work and do the work. Quote, I was well-spoken, Miller told the New York Times in an interview. They had me running the cash register, talking to people, all the customers. I'm doing these things, learning the whole store, and so I'm equipped for the job. That's not the issue here, right? In 2024, Miller was part of a class action lawsuit against Sheetz filed by the EEOC, which is the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, alleging that the company's criminal background checks disproportionately screened out applicants of color. But soon after President Donald Trump took office, the EEOC abruptly dropped the case. The agency cited an executive order by Trump that directed federal agencies, quote, deprioritize cases like Miller's in which companies are scrutinized not for intentional discrimination, but for having policies that have an unintentional, disparate impact on minority applicants. So basically what this means is that companies can feel free to discriminate and we have no recourse. That sucks, doesn't it? But think about where we are. This country has never wanted to put its effort behind making fair life for African Americans. If anything, one political party prioritized it for votes. But even they're joining in the madness and the chaos because you got majority white campaign candidates, running for governor, not addressing black issues at all. Don't need to. And here's an example of why they don't have to. We will let our community's future be controlled by people that aren't from it. If you will let, this is just, don't get offended by what I'm going to say, but this is the only way I can describe it. If you're going to let blue and pink haired circus freaks from another place in time come into your community and say no to a development and then a development gets stifled, then we mean nothing. Nothing. No, if someone else drops out of the sky and says, yeah, we don't like what's happening in the black community, we're just going to oppose it. And we're going to oppose it pretty vigorously. And if black people don't say, no, we're going to defend this little bit of territory that actually belongs to us, we want to have a future, we want to have some kind of development that might lead to something, because we don't really have a lot of options and we don't get to pick and choose what development comes in. And another group says, nah, we don't want you to have anything. I want you to take that scenario where we are so easily manipulated by strangers, and then also look at the fact that black labor is not wanted and not needed. Nobody wants black people to have anything. For what? That's a real serious question, and I don't think that we want to confront that. We are afterthoughts, and so we don't deserve any kind of development. For what? Stuff is closing in the black community. That's not the place where you build things. If you're going to build stuff, save that money for somewhere else. Take that development somewhere else, not in the black community. We want their properties to be worth nothing. So at some point, we can either bulldoze them all or we can buy them for pennies on the dollar. And if we are going to allow that what I just described to be led by a group with no real interest in the progress of the black community, then we deserve absolutely everything we get, including the eventual closure. By 2028, that Midtown Pick and Save is done. And I'm telling you that's going to happen. But I predicted that the research center at Midtown, a couple of weeks ago, I was like, yeah, it's done. It's finished. whenever a vote is paused or stalled, so the Plan Commission, they have, quote, put an indefinite hold. And here's the thing about the Plan Commission. They're not even elected officials. It's an advisory group. They make it an advisory recommendation to the council. The advisory group was scared, and they're not even going to, they can be like, screw these outside people, because when it comes to developing the city of Milwaukee, it doesn't matter what anybody thinks, because people that live in this city don't really have like a 25-year, 50-year, 75-year, 100-year concept of what development is supposed to be. The city of Milwaukee is not trying to develop stuff right now. They're trying to paint a picture of what things are going to look like 50 years, 75 years from now. Development is way in the future. And so if this Midtown development falls through, which it did, then there will be nothing as far as the city goes for the next 75 years. And if that process can be stalled or interrupted or put on an indefinite hold because another group from somewhere else that nobody even knows can stop a development from taking place, then we deserve it. I know you're probably thinking, oh, Sherwin, that's not fair. Yes, it is. That shows why nobody is going to invest in black people, because you just don't have to. Because what are we going to do? Honestly, what are we going to do? How are we going to fight back? We're not. All we're going to do is continue to destroy one another. And it's a real unfortunate thing, but it's the absolute truth. It's where we're at. In fact, do I have that story here? Let's touch on it for a second since we're in the mood. Plan Commission punts decision on Midtown Walmart development because a group of people called something a data center. There wasn't a data center. They literally use fake news to dupe vulnerable people that don't know shoe polish from sugar honey iced tea. I said, yeah, they're going to build a data center near a community, even though it isn't. We fell for it. And now nothing is going to be there. Milwaukee's Plan Commission punted on a decision to approve a redevelopment for a long vacant Walmart in Midtown after a 7-hour meeting that took place about a week ago on June 29th. The decision came after numerous critics raised concerns about a computing facility that they described as a data center that was part of the proposal. Months of fierce public pushback had mounted against the developers, called a proposed, quote, computational research facility when the redevelopment plan was announced in April. City officials and developers have denied that the facility would be a data center, and we know that it won't be. The motion to hold that decision passed with no dissent. It was a long meeting, and people testified, and they got to share their point of view with the commission, and ultimately the commission made a decision, and we will discuss it at another time. The Plan Commission Chair, Stephanie Bloomingdale, told the Journal Sentinel after the meeting. She said she doesn't know when the future discussions will take place. They probably won't. The deal has been killed. And some people wanted that. But don't think you're going to get an alternative. So Walmart left in 2016 because they're like, this area sucks. Walmart said this area even sucks for us. Now, part of it was Walmart overbuilt in cities and they oversaturated. You don't need 7 Walmarts in a city. You need like 2 Walmarts per 500,000 people. That's all you need. Walmart overbuilt in the city of Milwaukee and in Milwaukee County. They got a little too high and mighty and thought that we needed a damn Walmart on 104th and Silver Spring, 76th and Servite. Thought that we needed Walmarts on the South Side. And we don't need all that many Walmarts, so they overbuilt. And then, of course, they built one in Midtown. You got the one on East Capitol. We're saturated. There's too many Walmarts. And Walmart closed the one in Midtown. And then that property became for sale because Walmart wasn't there anymore, and they owned the building. In 10 years, only 2 people made offers on 158,000 square feet in the black community. 2 people. And the second offer came in 2022 or 2023. There was one offer made between 2016 and 2022. One. Not hundreds of offers, not thousands of offers. Like, who wouldn't want really inexpensive real estate? 160,000 square feet. That's a big old chunk of city right there. That's a lot. And like the whole site is like 4 or 5 acres. That's a nice little piece of land. No one wanted it. And then when someone did want it, another group was like, nah, we can't have development in the black community. And they single-handedly made the alderperson look small. Like that, I feel bad for Mark Chambers because his authority was usurped by people that can't even recall him. They just came in and was like, yeah, we're going to make a bunch of noise and we're going to get the aldermen to cower. And not saying that Mark did, but he got beat because a plan commission of people that aren't even elected. They were afraid. They paused it permanently. The city plan commission is like, yeah, here's what we're going to do. Here's how we're going to develop this area. And nobody even really cares because that's just what they do. Like, oh, yeah, we got somebody bought some land. They want to do this. They got all the permits. Yay, thumbs up. 7-0. We'll vote for it. 7-0. Give it to the council. The council supports it. Very rarely does the plan commission get scared. And it's not like they would lose their seats. They're all appointed by the mayor. It's not like if the plan commission makes a bad development decision, they all go to jail. Nothing happens. But they were so afraid of this group. I think that showed the political power of this group, but also the ignorance of the black community. Because if you look at the disconnection and the social vandalism that is happening, that is because we have a community where nothing is being built and nothing is being developed. So the social vandalism that you are seeing is the anger and the rage of a people whose labor is not needed, whose development in their community can get kicked and punted indefinitely by a group of outsiders. That is the weakest our community has ever been. Because I can remember a time where if you were not of and for the community, we wouldn't even let you into the meeting. You wouldn't even be able to get in the door. Who are you? Where are you from? You're from the what? You're a Democratic Socialist. Get out. But, no. And then the Panthers would come. Even though we didn't really have. Our Panthers here were kind of like, not Panthers, but like kittens. Not really like meow. That's not nice to say, but they weren't panthery. They were just intimidating looking. They wore the outfits. But now, if people know that our community and our elected officials can just be steamrolled with a little bit of pressure, then why would anybody develop anything in our community? Take a break, come back, talk to Al on the other side. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. We'll be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Talking about guns with others might not always feel comfortable, but it could save a life. Here's a way to start a conversation. Your family is going over to your neighbor's home for dinner for the first time. How would you ask if there are any unlocked guns in the home?
Hey, we're so excited for tonight. Before we come over, though, may I ask if there are any unlocked guns in your home?
Our guns are stored securely, locked in a safe that the kids can't access.
Awesome.
Learn how to have the conversation at agreetoagree.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Wherever there's a need in our communities, there's a united way. Improving lives so everyone can thrive. Where more people can gain access to health care and nutritious food for their tables. Where more community members can benefit from financial education and get connected to local resources for housing support. And where children are given more chances to reach their full potential. Community is where we find our strength and where we share our hope. United is the way. Visit unitedway.org.
Are people around me safe when I vape? Science does not support that belief. Exhaled vape emissions linger in the air, affecting indoor air quality and bystanders in the same space through secondhand exposure. Vaping emissions can also accumulate on clothes, hair, dust, and furniture, leading to exposure risks to bystanders of all ages. And vaping around a pregnant person can lead to serious health impacts on fetal and childhood development. Enough with the puff. Learn more at ul.org/vaping.
My mom has decided to learn to paint, and she's good.
My dad's now into creative cuisine, and I've already put on 6 pounds.
Learning new things comes with age.
My mom, she started forgetting my name and what we're talking about.
Forgetting well-known things doesn't. Memory loss may be a sign of Alzheimer's disease. Early detection gives you and your loved one time to plan for the future. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Hey! You got to pay back. Revenge.
Al, you're on 1017 The Truth. How are you?
I'm doing fine. I want to say happy Monday to everybody, and I'm going to try to stay on track. One thing we as black people got to do, we got to stop voting for black politicians because they're black. Because what they're doing is they're getting your vote, and then they're saying FUB, and now we don't have nobody to speak up. So we got to stop voting for politicians because they're black and asking what the F we getting out of it, okay?
Al, we don't have a choice. I would love to agree with that, but only a certain number of black people even want to run to represent black people.
Well, if that's the case, then we're going to have to either try to vote them out or try to get some new talent in there. Because what we have right now is travesty. Moving forward, people who act niggerly, we're going to have to let them die out. I'm just going to keep it 100. That goes for our people, these racists, and these January 6 riders. We're going to have to let them die out because there's nothing we can do with them kind. So I don't want nobody saying we're just talking about them kinds of people that we don't want to deal with. We're going to have to let them die out. And for the people who say they're going to move. Like the one who said she's going back to Beaver Dam, you track yourself right back to Beaver Dam, okay? And she's probably messing with a white man or something. But who cares? Get the F out. The other thing I was going to tell you, we as black people, we got to invest in ourselves. We got to push the envelope, and somewhere down the line, we got to start encouraging people to get in politics because what we have right now is not hidden. And this is what I need to say, too, for our black men and black women. Y'all got to stop looking at the white skin because a lot of times y'all get the white skin, see the white skin, you get too comfortable. And then a lot of y'all always want to go places and be the only dot, okay? Y'all don't have no Lady Paris on you, no Papa Justified on you, and next thing you know, you're hanging from a tree or you go on a little boat excursion like Nolan Xavier who vanished in Mississippi on an island, and then y'all come up missing. If you're going to be the only dot, take you some Papa Justified and some Lady Paris. So when they get to acting stupid, you air that whole boat out. Because when the thing with our people, they get around these white people and they get real comfortable. And when they know you get comfortable, next thing you know, you floating somewhere down in the Mississippi Delta, or you're hanging from a tree and they roll it a suicide. I think the boy probably was messing with a white girl, and one of them boys probably just sized him up and said, we're going to get him out here and F him up. Now, there's nothing wrong with being an American here in the United States, but it's too much gender P. And gender P is gender pedophilia, because keep in mind, they feel that stuff is okay in their culture. I mean, a mother and father just went to jail because they were sleeping with their own kids and they were sleeping with each other. But a lot of them is not going to tell you that. But I just need us as black people, start keeping an open mind and stop letting your guard down around white people. Because from the beginning of time, we see white and we think it's right. And a whole lot of times they begin ready to bite you in the back like a snake. But if you remove the head from a snake and drink the blood, you will see who they are. And if you have some white people who they will come out and tell you that a lot of white people you can't really trust. Okay? And I'm not saying all white people are bad. Some of them you can't really trust. You got to watch them more than some of your own family members. But I just wanted to drop them gems on you. Stop being so comfortable around white people, okay? That's what's effing us up. And we got to start pushing each other to get in politics so we can turn and flip some tables, just like Jesus did up in heaven when he found out everybody was getting some and he wasn't getting none. Y'all have yourself a good day. Keep your eye on the prize with yourself. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. You know how no one really wants to work at McDonald's? I don't think many young people say, I aspire to be on fries. But considering how popular McDonald's French fries still remain, like that should be a prestigious job. Oh, hey, what do you do? I'm a doctor. What about you, sir? What do you do? Oh, corporate lawyer. Ma'am, over there, wearing the funny looking paper hat. What do you do? Thought you never asked. I'm on fries at McDonald's. Oh my God, they're so delicious and crispy. They're so delicious. Because nobody really wants to work at McDonald's because it's, people don't see it as the prestigious job. Nobody wants to run for office. When I say nobody, only a very select few want to deal with creating policy that most people don't even understand. Especially when a community can lose progress because of the desires of a whole nother group that's not even invested in that community. Who wants to run for office? And you may have a bunch of ideas, but a group from somewhere else can come in and usurp your authority. Who wants to do that? Not to mention the things that you get blamed for as an elected official. Like, we still have this elementary understanding of politics, and American politics created the African American, and we still don't even understand it. We are like 10% of the Constitution is literally dedicated to us. Like, don't kill them anymore. Don't let them go to school, and they're people. That's 10% of the Constitution. Is just, hey, leave blacks alone, kind of. Like, let them do stuff and let them go to school and let them read. They're human being, citizen people. It took 3 amendments of the Constitution to even recognize that. And we still think that, hey, there's crime in the black community. A black elected official needs to fix it. How? Think about it. And the job depends on what it is. It doesn't pay nearly enough. There's no amount of money in which someone should run a campaign which is grueling and then get elected and then immediately be hated by 50% of the people that you represent. And then your ideas can be usurped and your authority can be reduced to nothing by any outside group whenever they feel like it. Who wants to do that? Because it's not like I'm going to run for office to really make a difference. Obama, he tried, and I think that he did make some real tangible changes that we all can look at. But then look what happened after him. Imagine if we didn't get a Barack Obama. Now the world might be a little different, but I think some of the gains that we made, at least socially, or how people, I think that some of us thought like, oh, black people are going to be looked at as like we can be good leaders and good fathers and good people and good men and have no scandals and pass laws and actually help people. Everything he did was disrespected. Everything. The only thing that really stood the test of time, I won't even say his reputation stood the test of time, because he's still just as hated as he was when he was president. And they tried to do everything they humanly possibly could to destroy his legacy. They tried to take away the Affordable Care Act. It's been gutted, so it's not the same as what it was. But who wants to do that? You have to be a glutton for punishment to the highest degree to want to be a black elected official. And shout out to the people that do it. But how do you encourage somebody else like, hey, everybody, I want you to stress yourself out, spend time away from your family, basically have to quit your job, beg other people for money so you can run a campaign and do grueling labor and knocking on doors and trying to convince people to vote for you. And then when you win, they're going to hate you. And then your ideas can be buried by just another outside group, and you never know when it's going to happen. Oh, by the way, people can also recall you whenever they want to because, again, they hate you. Who wants to do that? I'd rather be a social media influencer. Show a little butt cheek, Sell some foot pics. I took some foot pics over the weekend. I'll show you. $10 a pic. $10 a toe. I'm not above selling a foot pic. Take a break, come back. Talk about the estimated number of visitors to both Brady Street and Water Street, how much money they spend, but then also how much it costs us in police presence and police overtime. And then it'll give a different perspective of the social vandalism that takes place on Brady Street and Water Street, like these are sizable investments that bring in a tremendous amount of revenue, but you have ingredients and elements that are literally destroying it. But there's a reason why they're doing it, because they're not attached to anything. They're not connected to anything. They don't own anything down there. It's social vandalism. It's the reason why the tagger will spray paint a brand new, beautiful building. They'll deface a building because that's not their building. They don't care anything about that building. They didn't work to get the money to build that building. They're not staffing the people that are in that building. They'll just vandalize it because they have no connection to it. And I'm not saying that, the people that are causing all the chaos and the mayhem need to have a connection to these entertainment districts. I'm not saying that at all. But even if you built something for them, they would destroy that too. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. Will be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
We asked parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
When I met both of them, it was like my missing pieces were found. Like it was just like an instant, these are my kids. If you're considering adopting a teen, just do it. Kids need families. I don't care the age, everybody deserves a family.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. Visit adoptuskids.org to learn more. A message brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. Beating in rhythm to the world you've created. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzz driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Doctors Without Borders is delivering life-saving medical care where it's needed most in communities around the world. From bandaging war-wounded patients in Sudan to providing clean drinking water in Haiti, we're in more than 70 countries worldwide, bringing patients from sick to recovering, from emergency to aid, from crisis to care. This life-saving care is made possible by a global movement of supporters like you. Thank you.
Mommy, can I sit in the front seat just this one time? Please, please, please.
No, not yet.
But why?
Because I love you, and you're just not ready yet. Now, get in the back so I can get you in your car seat, please.
Putting your kids in the right seat for their age and size is an act of love. Check that your kids are in the right seat at NHTSA.gov/the right seat. Love protects. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
In sitcoms, when someone has a problem, they just blurt it out and move on.
Well, I lost my job and my parakeet is missing. How was your day?
But the real world is different. Managing life's challenges can be overwhelming. So, what do? We get support. The Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council have mental health resources available for you at loveyourmindtoday.org. That's loveyourmindtoday.org. See how much further you can go when you take care of your mental health.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Linda says, the black diaspora is not for the weak in this country. That is why we must change the black verbiage to human beings guaranteed the equal rights, opportunities as all other human beings. That's insane. Nobody's listening to us because we don't produce anything that America needs to survive. I got to go a little step further. Let me read some more comments here because I don't think people are quite getting it. Y'all think that there's something that we can do. If there was something that black people could do to change the mindsets and attitudes of other people, unless you produce something that America needs and must purchase from us and must get from us solely, we're not, because our labor is not needed anymore. Our labor was needed during slavery. Our labor was needed during like the industrial migrations when we came to the upper Midwest, to Chicago, to Gary, and to Michigan, and to Milwaukee. Our labor is not needed anymore. They used to recruit black labor because they needed it. They don't need it anymore. Labor is now foreign. And then there was another comment. Here we go. Not really a city girl says, our people have been castrated. No, there was something else she said. Here it is. I'm glad that she said this because I think this is an attitude that a lot of people have, but we're being led astray by attitudes that are fairy tales. She says, you have to be able to get into the mud and fight. With that mindset, this is why the white people dominate the government, because too many of our people fearmonger and can't handle the battle. Let me be real honest with you, not really a city girl. If you get into politics, especially in the city of Milwaukee, you're not fighting white people, you're fighting black people. Who wants to be a black elected official when 99% of your waking moments are fighting the people that you are fighting for? They hate your guts because they don't understand what the hell you do. The civics education in this city is worse than our literacy, and our literacy is something like 60% of black people, especially under the poverty line, can even read. That's not you don't change mindsets if people don't even know what government is. And here's the other thing about government. And no, I don't think we need more black people in government. We need more black people in business because all government can do is regulate business and protect it. Government doesn't create business. So the more black people that we have in higher office, they're only regulating and protecting business. We need black entrepreneurs that can make deals. And here's the reason why the white folks can dominate. Because at the end of the day, they might be on warring political sides. Look at their stock portfolios. They all own and invest in the same companies. So they can own the business, but then also, once they get elected, they can control the regulation of the businesses that they own, whether they're the actual owners or they are the major stockholders of those businesses. Black folks are just on one side, just being on the side of regulating businesses or supporting them, not creating them. You'll never get independently wealthy as an elected official or a politician. You get independently wealthy from the things that you learn and the connections that you make, just like you'll never get wealthy working for somebody else. You can make money working for somebody else, but wealthy, never. Just like if you're working on behalf of the people as an elected official, you'll never become wealthy. The black community lacks wealth. Once you have wealth, your community has no more problems because then you can own the means of production. Once black people have wealth, we can literally buy white people. We can buy their labor. Right now, they're buying ours, but for very, very low rates that keep us deep in the throes of poverty. And the more black people you have in poverty, the less effective we are going to be at implementing social change for ourselves because nobody respects poverty. Poverty is managed. Poverty is dealt with, and in most cases, it's criminalized. And that's where we're at. So, no, we don't need more black elected officials. We need more black folks that have business savvy, that control the flow of money and resources. We need to be in a position where we can tell a black or white person, no, you can't have that loan for that development. No, we're not going to give you the money for it. You can't do it. No. Because I would be leading my people into not just a burning building like Dr. King thought integration was. I'd be leading my people into an inferno if I say, we need more black elected officials. You're going to spend more time fighting your very constituents than you will spend fighting on their behalf. And it isn't worth it. It's not. There's a period of time where there was a sentiment where, quote unquote, Black Lives Mattered. That's gone. That was a fad. You guys remember hypercolor t-shirts? They were big in like the 80s. Of course you don't remember those. Most of you are too young. So it was a t-shirt that was activated by body heat or just by touch. So if they came in pastel colors, very 80s. But if someone touched your hypercolor t-shirt, it would change color because the heat of the handprint. They were all the rage back in the day. And so my mother bought me a hypercolor T-shirt because that was a big deal when you were in 7th grade, at least at Brown Deer. If you had a hypercolor T-shirt, I couldn't wait to wear my hypercolor T-shirt to school the next day. But it was wrinkled. So I ironed my hypercolor T-shirt. Now remember, this is a shirt that is something in the material. It was sensitive to heat, so if somebody touched it, it would leave a different color of their handprint. Well, I ironed it and I broke it because I put too much heat on it. I said all that to say this. Nobody wears hypercolor T-shirts anymore because that fad has passed. Wanting to promote and prop up and give opportunity to black people, it was a fad. And it took George Floyd's murder, and it was only a moment of white guilt. Only a moment. And we couldn't make enough meaningful progress. And our problem is this, though. The very community that is suffering under the weight of its ignorance is eating itself. And how can I encourage someone to want to run for office to represent people that will also eat you as an elected official? You will be consumed. And that's just not, it's hard for me to do that in good faith. Yeah, run for office, they say. It'll be great, they say. You'll get death threats. And not to mention outside groups can come in and dupe your own constituents and make your own constituents turn against you. It's insane. Estimated annual visitors to Brady Street between 2 and 2,800,000 people. Water Street Entertainment District annual visitors 4.2 to 5.8 million people. Brady Street has between 650 and 900,000 unique visitors. These are people that have never been there before. Water Street every year has between 1,200,000 and 1,800,000 unique visitors. Annual direct spending on Brady Street is between $95 and $135 million. Water Street between $250 million and $340 million. The estimated total economic impact of just Brady Street alone is between $140 and $190 million. Water Street is right around $500 million. If the social vandalism continues, we will lose somewhere around $750 million of tourism and travel spending on just those two entertainment districts. And you have people, the bad ingredients, are infiltrating those areas, and they are destroying these very sizable payoffs for the city of Milwaukee. At the very least, someone should say, you know what, maybe you all should stop going down there and causing all the trouble and the chaos, because a lot of the money that we need to help the city and to pave the roads and plow the snow does come from the tax revenue and the profit that is generated from Brady Street and Water Street. But if you guys keep going down there and acting a fool, then there will literally be nothing in a community that is in the negative. Although no official count exists, several data sources allow reasonable estimates. Evidence include the Brady Street Business Improvement District pedestrian studies, Brady Street Festival attendance, Harley-Davidson homecoming, summer festival spillover, business occupancy rates, and restaurant sales. A typical year typically includes 18,000 to 25,000 visitors on a busy summer Saturday on Brady Street, 8 to 12,000 on Friday nights, 3 to 7,000 during the weekdays. Applying seasonal variation, this produces an annual estimate of between 2 and 2.8 million visitors annually. Only about 1/3 represent unique people because many residents visit frequently and repeatedly. Estimated unique visitors are between 650,000 and 900,000 a year, and that's huge for the city of Milwaukee. So if we lose that because of the threat of crime and violence, the money that we will lose. Oh, wait till I get to how much it costs us in policing and overtime. Just like some people they don't want to be elected officials because they don't want to deal with the hassle and the headache. People don't want to be cops in Milwaukee either. It's a hard job to try and sell. And do you know that by a certain year, it might be 2029 or 2030, if the city of Milwaukee does not have a minimum number of police, we're going to lose 10%. The shared revenue increase that we got, we're going to lose. So the city will have even less money. Think about how ironic this is. If we don't have a certain number of police officers on the force in Milwaukee, and I don't know how you're going to get them, because who in the hell wants to be a cop here? You might get hit by a firework. A cop got run over by a car. Let me tell you what. If there was a job where someone said, hey, Sherwin, you might get shot, fireworked, or run over by a car. Do you want that job? No. Put me in a studio behind bulletproof glass. That's where I'd be. So if we don't have a certain number of police, we're going to lose even more money, and the crime and social problems in the city are going to get even worse. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Life's better with American Family Insurance because we know you love working weekends. If it means working on your dream home, both inside and out. And we're here to help protect those dreams so you can enjoy peace of mind. Save up to 40% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products, pricing, and availability vary based on where you purchase insurance and by state. Some exclusions apply. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating companies, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Our children deserve a real chance to make it in life, and a good education is a passport to opportunity. At City Ford Collective, we're working to make sure there's a great Milwaukee school for every Milwaukee family, because more good options lead to better outcomes. And who doesn't want that? Together, we can give every child the foundation they need to thrive, and a stronger future for kids means a stronger future for Milwaukee. To learn more about our mission, visit us at cityfordcollective.org. That's cityfordcollective.org.
For 250 years, our armed forces have bravely served America. Wounded Warrior Project honors that legacy by supporting post-9/11 service members and veterans like Anthony, a Marine who was injured by a roadside bomb in Afghanistan.
They carried me through my injuries, not just my physical, but my mental. And seeing other vets doing the same thing helped me tell myself, hey, you can do this.
Join us in honoring warriors at woundedwarriorproject.org/America.
In the United States, a vehicle is stolen every 31 seconds, about as long as this message. Luckily, you can take a few easy steps to protect your car in the same amount of time. Remove your valuables, roll up your windows, don't leave your car running unattended, lock your doors, and take your keys or fob. If you have information about a crime, call the police. If you suspect insurance fraud, also call 800-TEL-NICB. A public service message from the National Insurance Crime Bureau.
I always had to be so good, no one could ignore me. Carve my path with data and drive. But some people only see who I am on paper. The paper ceiling, the limitations from degree screens to stereotypes that are holding back over 70 million stars. Workers skilled through alternative routes, rather than a bachelor's degree. It's time for skills to speak for themselves. Find resources for breaking through barriers at tearthepaperceiling.org. Brought to you by Opportunity at Work and the Ad Council.
I'm Chris Jakimick. I served in the United States Air Force, and I deployed 3 times. So in 2017, I was serving as an Air Force First Sergeant. Our motto in that role is, my job is people, everyone is my business. But unfortunately in that year, I would lose my own brother, Lance Corporal Adam Jakimick, to suicide. The majority of veteran suicides are from guns. I store my weapons securely, not only for myself, but for my family. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide. My service never stops.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Linda says, Sherwin, you preaching a discouraging, depressing, oppressing, and hopeless message that you don't want to know why? Because everybody understands what's happening to black people except for black folks. We're still looking around like, why is this happening to us? They've been telling us from the beginning. And we thought because we got a little bit of progress that our progress would be cumulative. It is not. You got to start over every day. Just because we have some rights on paper, Trump illustrated that everything that we have received, including the Voting Rights Act, can be taken away with his signature, not even an act of Congress, just him. So the fight doesn't stop, but we got lax and we got lazy. And for folks saying, oh, we got to have more people to run for office, stop thinking somebody else is going to do it. If you think that we need better people to run for office, then it's got to be you. And if it's not going to be you, then it won't be anybody. There's a couple other comments that I wanted to read. Not Really a City Girl says to Linda, we need the ugly, but that's not the only reality. It isn't. But if you are a mover and a shaker and you have aptitude and you want to be successful, Those people leave Milwaukee. What is left here are the people that are gluttons for punishment, me, and those that can't leave. They can't. They wish they could move away. They wish they could go to greener pastures and have better opportunities for themselves and for their families. They can't. And there's not enough of us gluttons for punishment working with those that can't leave to make any kind of difference. And it's shown by how our community is easily duped by just any outside group coming in and say, yeah, here's what they did. They said, we don't like this development in Midtown. And nobody even asked who they were. They just showed up. Unshaven armpits and all. Yeah, we don't like this. And the residents were like, well, a couple of us think that this could be a start. Shut up, Blackie. We don't like this development because it's something that it isn't. And then some of the black people were like, well, what do you mean it's something that... Shut up, Blackie! And the plan commission was like, yeah, we're going to side with the unshaven ones. And we're just going to, sorry, Midtown, just suffer a slow and painful death. And you're going to eat that pick and save up. And then don't come calling me, Sherwin, they're closing another grocery store. I told you. Do you think that a bunch of black folks can go out in Brookfield and oppose the development? Do you honestly think that? Try it. I may not want another shopping strip mall to be built in Brookfield. Me and Zech. Not Xavier, because that's his stomping grounds. Me and Nitty and Jazz Tyler and Manon Sabir. Manon would have a bag of apples. And we went out to Brookfield and we opposed the development in Brookfield. They would kindly escort us out of the meeting. But I'm just trying to let folks know that as much as we talk, when you call black folks out and say, okay, we're going to come into your community and we're going to oppose something that ultimately you need as a catalytic project, and we do nothing, we let the other side win, that's gutless. And it's the absolute truth. Because again, if we don't produce, America is very serious about a couple of things: money, assets, and production. Black people produce a kind of culture that is self-destructive and almost to be popular, and for it to produce money, it's got to mock black people and all of our history and all of our progress. But fair enough, it's entertainment. But if that is the only thing that we are producing, we're not producing something that America needs to maintain its superpower status. We're not. We aren't. And there's no encouragement, because we're also the only people that are okay with sending our children to be educated by our enemy. Find me a school in which white people and white parents want their kids to be educated by black people. But I would argue if white people were smart, they would want their children to be educated by black people, because they would get a much more well-rounded perspective on, the other perspective on the 4th of July instead of this indoctrination. Oh, by the way, speaking of which, we're talking about the 4th of July and America turned 250 years old. I asked you a question via YouTube. Very simple question. Are you proud to be an American? 54% of you say yes. You are proud to be an American, and 46% of you say no. We likely will continue this conversation in an uncensored format this evening on the Hughes Views 414 podcast, exclusively on YouTube, and that'll be kicking off at 7 p.m. tonight. Thank you for listening. I'll see you later.
The African American Roundtable, black-led organization on Milwaukee's far northwest side, has launched a safety campaign rooted in the basic need of food access. It's called Feed the Change MKE. Through community engagement, AART learned